Day show. That's your boy Joey Options. Why are you looking at me like that, Ram?
You got scared. You're on the boom.
And welcome everyone. It's been a fine morning today. I'm in a good mood. Everybody on the floor is in a good mood, and I hope you all on the other side of the screen are in a good mood.
You are fake news.
All right, we got Juan Padilla. Everybody's name is a little different here.
Yeah, what's up with
you
that?
guys are gonna have to change your names in the channel. So you go to view channel on your own personal account and you go ahead and change it. I did it, Joey did it, we all did it today. I don't know what the hell YouTube is up to. Come on, Google. Come on, Sundar. What's going on over there? All right, we got, okay, see the thing is, it's gonna be hard to read. Big finesse. We got Just Play. We got Day Trader Cut. Who else, man? Richard Nizza. We got Ostentatious, Jack of Art. Who else? Blue Arrow, Retro, Zion, Lala, Young GC. We got Palm Magnet. What? Palm Magnet.
All right.
Thinking about that one? That's I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Reto Stocks. We got Turban Joe. Who else we got? Kirk D, 1485. We got Harlov. Shout out to Rivian Millionaire. Shout out to, who else? Michael Del ZT. Who else? Save Mom. We got Stevenson ATN. Yeah, so a lot of these names are just regular guys, man. They're some of the OGs in the show. I can't even read their name because of all the I don't know, bamboozlement there. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. OB in for Sean today. It was a fantastic morning show with the big boys. Markets doing things, Joseph. We got every major average right now in Greensville with all-time highs within reach. It's been a fantastic week in the markets. I hope everybody's long-term and swing portfolios are singing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's my look there. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Yeah, my swings are singing, that's for sure, guys. Yeah, the swings are swinging today, and they're singing. So, yeah, happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone's having a solid session. I mean, if you want to stick to the big names, they're moving up relatively well. I've been shorting this market here. I was late. I wasn't paying attention, but I decided to add on this pullback, but I might get stopped out break even here on this squeeze because of this ad was substantially larger than this, but then we took a little bit off right there. So that's one of the trades that we got going on. And then I was also trading OKLO. Sorry to jump around here. We went one for one on that one. Just a nice little scalp there. Sorry, 1 for 2. And then we took a small loss on that one right there. But yeah, I got out a little prematurely, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. We'll take that VWAP, no problem on that pullback. And then we'll just look to short the overall market. Why was I short the Qs here? Let's pull it up and I'll explain a little bit. So there's a lot of indecision on the 5-minute. Let's pull this up here so you can see it a little bit more clear and decisively. So there it is, 5-minute. A bunch of indecisions. You see that hammer up or that doji, whatever you would like to call it. And then sure enough, we were just struggling to breach and hold that pre-market high. And then now we're starting to get a little bit of a rebound, which I believe there's going to be another opportunity to short this market. But as I always say, guys, when you are shorting the Qs, you have to keep an eye on the Mag 7 to see what they are up to. NVDA is strong this morning. Microsoft's starting to pull back, and Amazon is as well too, when we got the likes of Google hovering around the volume weighted average price. So keep an eye on that. You don't want to be going against the market, especially when the big names are being strong. We're going to hold on to this position as long as we can. Sharif, what do you got for a month?
All right, guys, I got to tell you, first and foremost, I don't know what is going on with these small cappers lately, but the spread on them has been quite displeasing. I don't want to say prohibitive, but we're going to weasel in and give it the old college try. WFF, my first one here, small size, because we're punching it at highs. I see basically higher lows on every successive candle. So the idea here is to add into 11 and then to basically add into 10 3/4 if it does hold the level. What the idea is that we take out that 1180 current high at day. Boom, there's print number one. We take out 70s. So we're waiting there. Let's see if we can get up into 82. I'm posting at 82 as well. So let's go ahead and wait low 90s with respect to that so we can get a nice pop up. Simultaneously, I want to be able to take dip trades on this one if it'll let me. So I'm going to go ahead, set up at, I believe, 1105. We'll look to defend that $11 level. So this is WFF, small cap gapper. Let me just give you the information on it. Up 75%. As I mentioned, 1180 high. What is this company? $290 million market cap, about 2.6 million shares traded on the day, and I don't actually have the float on this one. So we're going to pack our patience and see if we can take out some more levels. Back into the 70s we go. We're taking out 75. Now here comes 82. I'm waiting at 82 and then 90. So we just worked up into the high day again. So we're at the high of the day currently on WFF. So let's see if we can clear some levels here. It feels like we will take out the top. Who knows? Hence why I'm placing dollar cost average orders to defend the higher low situation. So 1180 acting as an area resistance right now on WFF. But I think that the higher low candles here. Boom, Joseph, we took out all the orders all at one time. Boom. All right, good look, good look. So let's set up at 12 and change now. We're going to go 1205 and see if we can take out that. So it's an 1190 high now. It used to be 1180. And I'm going to move up my orders to account for this latest move up. So keeping my eye right now on WFF, looking for a bigger move up. Joseph, what do you got?
Good look there. Yeah, guys, so we stopped out at break even here on the TQs. I'm going to wait for this pullback to kind of just cool off and then see what the big names are up to and see if we can have a possible re-entry. I do want to take OKLO again. It did have a small headline this morning and a nice indecision on the 5-minute, but unfortunately that ship has sailed for now. Let's see how it reacts around the volume weighted average price, and that is going to tell us a lot. And then DC, Austin, and Miller, welcome to Trader TV Live. Yeah, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the show. But that's what we got going on. So there we go. We go 1 for 1 on the TQs this morning. Let's see if we can get a continuation. You can see that we are making the lower highs. That's a positive sign that the short is going to stay in play. But we always have to keep an eye on what the big boys are doing. Microsoft starting to pull back here. A lot of chop this morning. Jose in our chat there was like, hey, yeah, Microsoft 500, we almost knocked on that door. So just be patient. If they decide to break through some key resistance zone, you can see that's Y session high. And then we also have post and pre-market highs through that 497.98 level. We'll call it 490. We'll call it 498 flat. So if we break through that, watch out for some more topside move. And with that being said, it's going to drag the market up with it. Sharif, what do you got? Oh, you're in it. Gee, you're monstering up.
All right, bro. WFF. We just hit the dollar club, baby. Got one more out on this one. 1164 long, 1284 high a day. Here we freaking go. 85%. We're knocking on the door of that hundo, so this one's coming in fast and furious. I got to tell you, though, guys, this one's spread is very, very wide. It's been 30, 40, 50 pennies at times. Adara, you may want to pull this one up. I know it's not dollars like you like, but, you know, well, we'll give this one a try over here. So we're going to go ahead and post up at 1305 for a high day break. It is 1284 high. Now, you better bet that anything below 75 gets me out of this trade. We're not going to give anything back now. So we're going to go ahead and post our stop just below our entry, but with the ambitions, with the hope, with the desire that we do clear that 1284 high day rather than getting stopped out for the last remaining amount. So we're finding now some selling on WFF at $12.50, and we have been rejecting that $0.50 level over and over again. This is the third attempt now as we work back into 49s that we can't clear the $0.50. There it is again. Big seller has moved down to the $0.50. That was the 5th rejection in a row. As I've mentioned to you guys, I am now using my top screen, and I'm using the 5-second chart on my top screen to be able to identify those micro pullbacks. It's a strategy that I'm employing for the first time, I think in maybe 4 or 5 years since I was trading at home during COVID. So we're going to give this a try. Obviously, there will be some growing pains. With that, boom, Joseph, we take out 1305. Bang, 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 bang on this trade. I'm so sorry I'm getting hyper.
Adara.
Go ahead, Adara. Thank you, Adara. She said, get it. Oh. I do appreciate you. Thank you. So we take out the level there. WFF on the warpath to the high side. Ooh. Keep your eye on this one, Joe. 1322 high day.
Spartans are on the warpath. Yeah,
I can still hear you, Dara, by the way.
Oh, okay. I can't really hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, Adair.
Okay, so we're out of this trade here, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Going to be patient on a next setup here. Nike was looking pretty good. I was going to buy this at the volume-weighted average price, but I had a couple of things going on. So I'm like, you know what, we'll figure something else out here. But there, a nice move on Nike, up 15.5% on the day. So it exceeded that expected move that we were looking at yesterday, which was roughly around 7 to 7.5%. And then now you can see that we're up 15% here on the day. So a good look on NKE. And then that news headline with OKLO was just basically Donald is looking to invest more into that energy space. So that's where you can see across it was like NNE, OKLO, and a couple other names where we're trading higher. And we were just looking to participate and look for the continuation in strength. With that being said, here is the actual chart forming another bottom here. So there's a lower high, I should say. No, a higher low, sorry, is what I'm getting at. So now if we can break through this VWAP and hold, then maybe you can get a breach of this 59.65, and you want to head towards that pre-market high. We can zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. And is it in breakout territory? No. So when you're going across your checklist in the morning, make sure you have the ability to check off a bunch of boxes and just put more probability in your favor, and that's the name of the game. So be patient. What do you got going on over there? You still cooking up?
No, man, I'm out of this. We're done our shares, but true to form, Joey, it's going to continue to go. It's going and going and going. It's cleared 100% now.
Go, man.
13.55 high, guys. This is a very aggressive move here in WFF, but I really want to stress, and because I'm trading it, and so, you know, it's obviously being spoken about on the show, but I really want to stress that this spread is quite wide. For a name like this, it's tightening up a little bit now as the liquidity is coming in. When I started trading this, we were barely over 1 million shares. Now we're almost at 3.6. I can still hear Adara come in my ear incrementally, SSC. I don't know what's going on with that. Incrementally, I'll be able to kind of hear her mic, and then it'll cut out. Wow, we're going to halt here, Joseph. 14:03, halt perimeter triggering. So keep your eye out on this. It's going to halt, false halt for the moment. We come back down, we lose 14, zigging and zagging a little bit here. WFF, I'm going to be very focused on this one at the moment, but it's not the only one that I got on, ladies and gentlemen. There are others. Yeah, just heard her again come in. So there's reset the unity, no problem. We'll do that. I'll cancel it right now, and I'll get back into it in 1 second. I'm also keeping an eye, guys, on HOVR. Shout out to Hove. Basically, this one is very similar pattern to WFF. So WFF, middle of your screen, HOVR on the right of your screen. Obviously, it's not nearly up as much. This one's 24.5. This one's going on 120% because every time I look, it's a little bit higher. We just broke through that halt perimeter at 14.04s. Now it's a 14.56 high a day. So I don't even know why I'm talking about HOVR when this one's all the hype right now. But the fact of the matter is, this one had a bit of a flat top break, much like HOVR had at $1.75, $1.80. However, this one suffers from the affliction of being boring because it is not breaking out and it doesn't have the same type of liquidity. It doesn't seem to be participating, or the market doesn't seem to be participating in this one as much. Also, you have a declining volume profile here on HOVR, while you have an inclining volume profile, an increasing volume profile here on WFF. Up and to the right, the volume goes. Down and to the right, it goes on HOVR. So those are the two that I'm focusing on at the moment. There are some other good ones. SYTA, SYTA, not the trader and host SYTA, but SYTA, this one. Good looking profile here with higher lows and higher highs off that 262 high a day. But look at these area lows, each one a little bit higher than its predecessor. So you know the buyers are in control when you see that. Otherwise, you would get lower lows if the sellers were in control. So that's another one we can keep an eye on here, SYTA in focus. I've got a couple of other ones here, EYEN, a former convict that's been locked up before. This one has support at $10 or so it seems. I'm displeased with the topping tail candles here that seem to be telling me that, you know, aggressive short selling or profit taking is taking place at that level. That's the bad side of the equation. The good side is we're still well above the 10 exponential, and we're also above that $10 psychological area of support. So EYEN, a former convict, one we know a lot about, and we'll be participating in that. INMB, Joseph, breaking down. LCFY also breaking down. That was the big boy mover in the pre-market. And then last but not least, SVER. This is up 82%. It's below VWAP at the moment, but something, just something tells me that we could work our way up here and see that 569 high of daybreak. So we'll see. What do you got, my man?
Yeah. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, Gorev, I mean, I see when you tag me. So, guys, we know that we had the Google issue this morning and YouTube issue. So I'm Joe-TTV if you want to tag me in anything. But yeah, I see when you tag me. Maybe you don't see when I tag you there, Gorev. So we'll get that figured out there, no problem. Eventually, anyways. But yeah, here we go. We're starting to pull back in. Google's relatively weak here today, but I mean, this swing trade has been phenomenal for me. It's unfortunate that I didn't get my options filled because then that would have been a monster move and I would have just closed it because I have a primary target of around 176, right? That's my target because I'm in at 167 and get a 9-point move before anything else happens there. But we'll zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint on Google. And there you go. It's just basically off of this trend line hold and this hammer candle on the bounce. And then sure enough, I didn't grab too many shares because I was looking to leverage the system. And I mentioned it time and time again, is that, okay, so you start a position via just normal common stock. And then once that starts to work, you can now use that free roll method and use it to buy more shares or contracts. And then that's when you really leverage that system. And then you look for the appreciation. Because if you lose $300 on your contract, you're just going flat on your shares as well too. So it's not a negative $600 trade, right? So just keep that in mind. And that's just a method that I've been using as of late, and it's been working relatively well. But I think that's going to be the move, right? And Sharif and I were talking about why is it lagging, but I think a lot of it has to do with its Apple, the Apple divesting in the Google, and obviously the Safari search or whatever it may be, their internet search. So we got to keep an eye out on this. Things can turn around with this. I think Google has a lot going for it, so we'll be patient. It is lagging the Nasdaq, so if it does play catch up, we're going to have a good time trading this. But I do want to sell the shares as well too. So
if you had to sing a song about this chart right here, what's the first song that comes to mind?
Get down.
That's a good one. Okay. Yeah. To me, what comes to mind is free, free falling. Look at Circle, dude. Oh my goodness.
I thought that was, you know who sings that, Free Falling?
Actually, I don't.
Oh, no.
Is it Oasis?
Oh,
Assassino.
You dirty dog, you. Yeah.
Is it? Was it right?
No,
it's not Oasis.
It's Tom
was he trying to call me in?
No, he was trolling me because I said it was Oasis.
Oh,
yeah. Remember, I'm like, isn't that Oasis? But that's just my my default setting, though, right? If I don't know the song, I just go Oasis, and then you have a good chance of being right.
This is a tough chart to look at here, Joseph. Yeah. So it doesn't show you the percentage loss on the day on the chart, but we're 11 in the red right now on Circle. So circle, dot, dot. Do you have that coveted cootie shot against the shorts here on Circle? An eagle. That's like, what?
Or that Nelly song, I'm going down,
baby. No street in the Range Rover. Zoom, zoom, baby. Ready, go.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know what that meant, but I don't even know if we're allowed to say that.
Yeah. You know, there's some lyrics in there.
I didn't know you had that in you, Nelly.
No, seriously though, guys, Circle, a bit of a tough look today. This is the 5-minute chart on CRCL. We closed out yesterday at around 213. We gapped up to start the morning, getting to the high of 223 and 2/3. And then it's been all hell breaking loose to the downside on CRCL with a 189 on the dot low currently. So a bit of a tough look. Let's look at the daily quickly here on CRCL. So we're getting into that 10 exponential on the daily, and the 10 exponential only started populating on the 17th. So limited, what's it called? Sample set there. But yeah, the short is clearly on right now on CRCL. So if I don't even think this one has options yet, right? Like,
yeah, it's optionable.
It does? It's optionable?
Yeah,
okay,
optionable.
All right, so then if you got options on this one, you're printing up a storm. Let's see what CoreWeave is doing, because that's the one that I've been earmarking for the short. Yeah, no, still positive today. 3 and 2/3. So CoreWeave's not done. CoreWeave still has that higher low, higher high situation, so it is not time to short this one. And it's also got the tailwind of chips in its back right now. Chips have been all the rage lately. We've seen, the likes of AMD, NVIDIA making all-time highs. Broadcom, oh my God, Broadcom at all-time highs as well. That thing is almost 1.3 trillion now. So yeah, there is a very good tailwind right now for chips, so it may not be time yet, Adara, to short CoreWeave as I've been wanting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's time yet to short this market where it is. I guess we'll find out. But I just want to let you guys know, this is kind of more general related in terms of the economy. In case you guys missed it, we do have that July 4th hard deadline for the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now we have the House Speaker Mike Johnson saying that the July 4th bill deadline might quote unquote slip. So that's a little bit on watching. This is something that Elon Musk has been following there. So just be aware. I guess the deadline might not be Independence Day, as we know President Donald Trump really wants. Market right now, maybe slightly higher low here at 540, 840. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And check us out on X at TTV Research if you like infographics and a little bit more context for your trading day. Back to you.
Bob Kern's comment over here, man. You're absolutely right, Bob. When Sharif started on this channel with Prad, he was as quiet as a church mouse. LOL. Boy, is it a lot different now. And I actually went back and watched a couple of those videos in the beginning, and like obviously I was like kind of like a deer in the headlights, you know. Yeah, I was nervous, right? Initially, and then I don't know what happened.
Boom! That's what happens, man. The switch just flicks sometimes, and.
I'm not a quiet person in real life, and so obviously I don't think that was a reflection of my real personality. Ram, you're within striking distance now, Ram. There could be, you know, all sorts of things finding their way onto your desk over there.
But you know what's funny? Let's go, Gorev. Let's go, Gorev. You're looking really good right now because the NVDA is climbing. Let's go, nice, bang, really good luck. But see, the thing is though, what Obi has of it, his persona is nice, cool, and calm. Yeah, and Neil thinks I'm the bad one. Remember, it's always the quiet one, all right? It's always the quiet one. Me, I'm more contained. Obi is the one to watch out for, not me, Mr.
Hold on,
Mr. Neil Roberts.
Obi is a kind person.
Very kind
He's
person.
Actually a kind person.
Yeah. That does not mean he can't get a little wild.
No, of course he can get wild.
I mean? Yeah. See, you guys think I'm the one who's like one more? It ain't me.
It's Obi for real,
Obi for real, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen him like that. That's the thing. I've been out with him once. That's the thing. I haven't, because, you know, I don't go out that
You know what he tried telling me one day? It was a nice day.
What'd he say?
It was nice. I'm like, yeah, let's go grab a beer. He's like, yeah, nah, bro, I don't drink on weekdays anymore. I'm like, dude, it's one beer. Yeah, sure enough, who was the first one there?
The first
ready
one.
to go. Yeah, I'm gonna get it
one.
rolling. So
I appreciate that.
For the old
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, let's get right back into this stuff. We have fun, man. We can mix it up really well here. We get to have a lot of fun, and then obviously get back into seriousness and trading. But go NVDA, go! I'm honestly really kicking myself, even though it's working out, and I know hindsight's 20/20. But I had a really big swing trade plan on this one from 142 for that push into the all-time high. But what really made me hesitate on the setup is just look at this movement. And I heard Michael Noss talk about it this morning as well too, is that traders were waiting for that pullback that never came. And then that's what that push that we made off of the Liberation Day lows, Sharif. Okay. And then now NVDA off of that April 3rd low, guess how much percentage points it's up?
How much?
Don't look. 81%.
What?
Yeah, 81% from those April lows, guys. That is big time moves, and I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like this. Was gonna grab the lows of this consolidation, but I'm like, let me be patient because just in case we get that pullback that everyone is waiting for because there's so much cash sitting on the sidelines, we never got it. And then sure enough, we break it, and now we're I shouldn't say way above, but we are above all-time highs. And so that was a big time missed opportunity on my behalf, but that's okay. We'll find something else. I'm liking this Google catch-up trade for now, and let's see if it can continue to work. So that's the game plan. Go Gorev, go as well too, because we are potentially sitting on the backside of this Qs trend, which I think is going to be really important if this market wants to continue to climb higher. And who knows what's going to happen here with Microsoft? It can go either direction here. It's either you can get that buy program, step in, and then sure enough you break through it and head for that 500 target. But there you go, Gorev. This is what I was referring to, is just watch out for this downtrend line. You were seeing the market really, really well. You have those indecision prints. Now you're on the backside of this trend. Wait for that retest to hold, and who knows what can happen on today's session. You can possibly go and test the high of the day.
Happy for you, Gorev, the OG.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, my man.
Sure, man.
Great guy and a great trader as well.
Yeah, man, you've been killing it.
A longtime viewer of the show, man. We appreciate when we see success on the other side of the screen. I'm going to speak about the couple of other ones that are moving right now. We're going to send you to Darren in 1 second, but we're going into the 10th minute, or sorry, the second 5-minute halt of WFF. It will be at least a 10-minute halt. We got 2 dashes there. Go ahead, Adair.
Here's NVIDIA, of course, really strong on the day. And they just have a bit of a catalyst I'm just seeing right now that a little bit close to home for us here at Trader TV, because NVIDIA has acquired Toronto-based AI startup called SentML. Now, SentML actually based right here downtown in Bay in Adelaide. I looked them up. They're not publicly traded as far as I can tell. They're a software company, and what they specialize in is optimizing AI. So congratulations to Toronto-based SentML, and good luck here for NVDA. Again, the logic reporting that NVIDIA is acquiring a Toronto-based AI startup. And back to you.
Yeah, maybe would you say it's at Bay in Adelaide? Yeah. All right, so maybe we'll go take a gander down there.
It's like this way, like 2 seconds.
Literally, maybe we'll go take a look at it later when
it's not working, Ram.
When we walk down towards the old tower town there. So maybe we'll see if we can find that one that NVDA just acquired. But this is what I'm referring to here, guys. Just keep an eye on Microsoft. If it breaks through this resistance zone here, Shreve, right at that 498, just watch out, right? It can climb and then
wedge.
Yeah, exactly, right? It can climb and then head towards this wick high, and then sure enough, I think that next step is going to be 500. But if you want to talk about a parabolic chart,
talk about it.
Like, I don't know what else to say.
Look at that gap.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Is that not the mother of all initiation gaps right there?
That's just part of. That's like, I think they beat their cloud expectations by like 1.3% or 3%, something roughly in that range. And then sure enough, it's like boom. But then I mentioned yesterday as well too, commercial cloud. There might be another $25 billion on the sideline that the street is not counting for, right? So very, very intriguing stuff here. And Danny Ives has Microsoft as possibly the first $5 trillion market cap.
Okay. Yeah. Ahead of NVIDIA, huh?
In 18 months, yeah.
Fair.
That's in 18 months. So let's see what's going on.
That's a statement. I always love his ambition and his callouts. He seems to be more right than he is wrong, to be fair.
The judge was like, Danny Ives made a, he made a comment and he's like, Danny Ives is like, yeah, so for all the haters out there or something like that. And he's like, and then the judge obviously chewed that up. He's like, oh yeah, there's haters out there. There's
plenty.
Yeah.
Oh, there's plenty.
Like,
they won't say it to his face though.
Absolutely.
On that, I was going to use a bad word, on that other network that we have there, BNN, BNN Bloomberg, which is our version of Bloomberg in Canada. It's licensed to this other company. There was this guy, they had him on, and one of the anchors on there, he's asking him, he's like, hey, Danny Ives likes this stock, is that stock? And this guy, innocuous nobody, all right, takes a shot at Danny Ives, like, well, I'm not going to comment about what Danny Ives thinks. I think, there's a whole lot going on there. It's like, bro, are you serious? Like you're taking shots at somebody like twice your stature.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously he's doing that for the notary.
I mean, obviously during all that tariff turmoil, we'll call it, it wasn't looking good for
a whole month and a half.
Right? For Tom Lee.
A whole month and a half.
For Tom Lee and our guy Danny Ives there. But then they've been right for the past couple of years. Tom Lee called the bottom. I was listening to him for a while, called the bottom, called that massive bull run. And then he's calling this as well, too. He's like, yeah, equities can continue to climb. Yeah. Why? Because a lot of it has to do with AI spend.
Boom.
And these tech names. So.
Well said, man. Yeah. And that's the truth. All right, so here's what we go. We got a new position. We're long SATEA right now, SYT. I know. I knew Neil was going to look over. Not the actual person who's on the show. SYTA is a ticker. It's got support at the volume weighted average price, and that's where I'm involved. I also perceive this one putting in higher lows, not necessarily higher highs, because we have been quite a bit of time since we cleared that 262 high day that we double topped that. I'll submit to you though, the real resistance level here, likely the $0.50, as we barely have any candles that have closed above that $0.50 on the day. Say again, Chile Nightmare? It is, I know, but we got to give everybody these cute little names, and this is very close to SATEA. But yes, you're absolutely right, Fabian. It is SAITA. You're right. No, seriously though. So SYTA got some support here at the volume weighted average price. So I want to see if this one wants to take out the top or what its situation is. All right. So we're involved in this one right now. Full disclosure, my out on the break of 30 pennies, that is. So that's number one. Number two, WFF is going into a 15-minute halt. A little trick for you guys. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. To figure out when a stock may open, you weasel on over to the time and sales and you look at the last print that came in. Case in point, Look at this one over here for 5 shares, 11:18:33. Then you take a gander at your atomic clock, and it is 11:30:46. So the earliest we can open is going to be basically in a few minutes, all right? So we'll see if this one wants to open up at the 5-minute mark or what its situation is, but this is going now on 15 minutes of halt. I'm talking about WFF. It is a down halt that we're caught in, or we're not caught in, I'm not in it, Sorry, 1 second, Adair. 1237 was the actual halt price. The theoretical auction price now, the tap, showing 1022. So this one is slated to open up more than $2 lower. Be careful. Go ahead, Adair.
Keep an eye here in TSLA. Nice little push up for this one. The company apparently is seeking approval to launch their FSD supervised in Europe. They're using an Article 39 exemption under an EU regulation that would, if it works, it'll allow them to get temporary approval as innovative tech, and that'll let them bypass some delays that are tied to some other European regulations. So basically, again, TSLA is seeking approval to launch FSD supervised in Europe, and they have a little bit of a loophole that they found to maybe do that. Let's see if it works. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. New position.
Alert.
I have it, actually. I always forget that I have it because it's Katina's. Okay, WFF is open, guys. I'll mention my position in a second on HOVR, but WFF open. So it was a 15-minute halt. It defends 11. The top, I guess, was 11. I wasn't looking. Here it goes, though. It's losing 11. Topping tail candle, rejected 12. It is coming back down to 10.5, finding support at 10.5 here at the 20 exponential moving average. So be careful with this one. It's really giving up the ghost. It's got to get above VWAP for me to get involved. The volume weighted average price, at least on my screen, showing 11.42. We are substantially below that now, almost $1 below it. Let's see if we can get back up there. So WFF, as quickly as it made that almost $15 high, it is about to lose $10 or so, it seems. So be careful with this one. All right, the new position that I'm in, HOVR. This I perceive to be bull flagging. It was quite spready. I was telling Joe this when we before we got on the show. It was like a 7 or 8 penny spread on a dollar name, which is quite wide. It's since tightened up. You can see 87 on the bid, 88 in the ask. I perceive this one to be bull flagging, and I'll make my case for you guys in a second. There it is. So that green line there, as you know, is a 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So I see this as a nice move up, a sideways consolidation, finding support at the 10 EMA. So I'm looking for this one to continue possibly into 2. HOVR is a ticker I'm talking about. Last one before we send it back to your boy Joey. This one, EYEN. This is a convict. It's been locked up. It's been in juvie. It's been in county. It's been everywhere there is to be locked up. We know this one. So EYEN finding all sorts of support at the 10 exponential. And in addition to that, it's got a beautiful higher low pattern here with higher highs as well. So my suggestion to you would be try to pick it up at the lower end of the range, much closer to the 10 EMA than the day's high. So keep your eye here on EYEN, no pun intended, Joey.
Ooh, right. Ian, I zoomed out and realized that the flat line and step down is taking APLD. Yeah, APLD. Applied Digital. See, that's the thing, right? I was looking at it this morning. I don't trade that too often. I don't even know if I've ever traded it, to be honest with you guys. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye out on that. But, man, NVDA is just absolutely on fire. I think this thing is going to head to 160. I'm not saying by today, but it's only a matter of time. With that being said, guys, you know what we have to do.
What?
Pull up the chain. Oh, maybe, chain gang. Yeah, maybe we'll start a little chain gang, yeah. There we go. So let's see what we got going on here with, oh, okay, we don't want that expiration cycle. What do we got going on there? Sorry for the lackluster. So let's go to today's expiration cycle. All right, so we're already past that 155 OI, offside. See where these lift up. You can see this concentration all the way through the 60s. If that kind of increases on the strike prices, then this thing is going to be absolutely monstrous. I think, and this is what I said, man. That's the thing, right? Sometimes I need to add more. We need more small potatoes. We need to add more to these positions when I'm like, yo, I've seen these numbers before. When they started striking these golf deals and I'm looking at them, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely phenomenal. Never mind the H20 over there in China. That's whatever. We'll take care of that later. But now we're going to focus on these Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, everything along those lines. And then sure enough, bang. This thing has now been climbing to 160, up over 80% off of those April lows. fantastic stuff. But what is really starting to move here, Sharif, is Microsoft. And this is what we were talking about earlier. It can do one thing or the other. It's either going to sell off or we're going to break through that resistance zone. The volume slowly started to pick up, and then now we're heading towards that $500 target. What is that going to do? It's going to drag the Qs up with it. It's going to drag the SPY up with it. So you don't want to be going against the big boys. I say that all the time. I remember somebody I used to trade with, he's significantly more experienced than I was. He said, don't short strong stocks. And that stuck with me forever. Me trying to short strong stocks, and I'm like, well, why didn't I just listen to him? It's the strongest thing in the market. Avoid something else. Find something that doesn't have necessarily a catalyst, or where the whole sector in general has been on an 80% run in the past couple of months. Avoid it. Wait for things to turn around, and then you're going to find good trades based off of that.
Sounds good. All right, couple of updates. Satea stopped out of that one. Lost VWAP. We get stopped out. This will be a loser for me. SYTA. In Hove, HOVR, printing from 186 up to 92. Zigging and zagging now showing me 190. We got orders posted at 94 and 96. I'm looking for this one to hold up above the 10 exponential moving average as it has been defending that level. That is currently about $1.85 on my chart. Let's see if we can get up into $2. I don't have any other plans for this one. I don't know, is your IB messing up lately? Because mine is like taking time to load charts and like
mine,
I can't.
Sometimes it doesn't even load the charts.
Yeah, I know, but that was, I don't know what's going on with this. I think the update screwed it up.
Some things don't even load the charts, and I'm like, man, I gotta turn it all off, turn it back on, and then hopefully some of them would load. And
Joseph, this one is making moves as well. So this was the one that we had in the pre-market. I didn't have it, but I traded it in the sim, as I always do, in the pre-market to warm up, or not in the pre-market, before we get on the show. So LCFY, I took like, I had a good trade on this one, like right at 930 in the sim, and this one lost VWAP quite aggressively, going down to 690. That is the technical day low. Obviously, it was trading below that in the pre-market, but now it has worked its way above the volume-weighted average price. LCFY, VWAP showing me around 910, 911. This thing just got up into $11. That's fantastic. What's the pre-market high, though? Well, did we clear the pre-market high? Yeah, we did. So technically, the official print is above the pre-market high, but we're below that level right now. So yeah, I don't know if I want to get into this, because there may be a lot of bag holders from 13.98 all the way down to where we're rejecting right now 11. I don't know. This one could be good. Hard to tell at the moment. So I'm going to pack my patience and keep my eye on LCFY. It's already shown its propensity to be able to break out and break out aggressively, given that it's up 329% on the day. So that one I will be watching. It looks like it might break 11 as we speak right now. Zigging and zagging right back into that $11 area. And there it is, right back into the mid-90s. So LCFY will be in focus for me going forward. Keeping an eye on Hover, as well as EYEN. EYEN. It keeps putting in higher highs and higher lows. So the way I want to set up on this one, maybe looking for that 10 to third, just to pick up on that pattern of higher lows on the 10. So let's go ahead and do that right now. EYEN, we're going to set up on this bad boy for a higher low, picking up on a higher low. So EYEN on the NQ. So the area where I want to pick it up is around 1035. So let's go ahead here and wait around 1035 for that bad boy. We'll see if we can get that fill. Just got into the high at day, so this one's going without us, it looks like. 1071 high at day right now, and it's at the high at day as we speak. So good look here for EYEN. There's a lot moving right now, so we'll keep tabs on all these guys. And if there's any new ones, tag myself or Joseph. I see you guys tagging me. I read the tag by you guys, but it's not giving me that red rectangle that it typically does give us when someone tags us. Say that again? I did, Ram. I typed. Okay, so let's go. Test. Okay, so let's go ahead, test. Okay. See, changes my name. So it puts it initially as like my first name and my last name together, and then it'll adjust it to Sharif TTV. So I'm not sure what's going on.
What's going on? I wonder if it's YouTube wide. I'm assuming it is, because now that ad in front of everybody is slightly annoying, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is. It's really stupid. I don't know why they did that. See, again, Ram, look.
It didn't work.
It didn't tag me. Look at that.
¿Cómo estás usted?
So it doesn't have the green or the red rectangle. where on my name as it should. So it's kind of hard to see.
He said, our guy Gorev said refresh. I don't know if you tried to refresh.
Is that your right?
Yeah. He said refresh.
Okay.
Throw a little refresh
I'm gonna do a refresh.
And then see what's going on in with that there.
Sir.
So Guan, big up yourself. Shout out Roy Woods too. But yeah, I mean, look at this name. This name is. Oh my days, oh my days, oh my days. This thing is absolutely insane. NVDA, I mean, we talk about this stock doing essentially nothing for a year, and the same with the likes of Microsoft. There you go, a little refresh.
Yeah, appreciate that. Shout out
Gorev. Sharif, thanks you for that one there. But yeah, I mean, there it is, guys. What a big time move that we're seeing here in this name. Oh man, what a miss. Again, we can't complain about we were waiting for something specific, and sure enough, it didn't come. But there's going to be plenty of opportunities. I think that once Google decides to play catch up here, there's going to be some nice movement, even better movement in the overall market. So that's what we got cooking up. I think 160 is in the works here for today. So a nice look there on NVDA, and that's what I'm talking about, Gore. Way to eye that out. Just correlate a bunch of things. Microsoft with the ability to break through some key resistance zones. NVDA just constructing a new all-time high once again, heading up into 158.60. And what is that going to do? That's just going to drag the Qs up with it. But
UNH.
UNH is moving.
Neil just yelled it out, UNH.
Okay. We'll pull up UNH here right now to see what's going on with UNH.
Here it is. I got it. It's something to do with Obamacare.
Okay.
Supreme Court keeps elements of Obamacare preventative care. Reuters reports that came in at 1044.
Dang.
For me, I don't think that that's necessarily it, Joseph, because the breakout started happening at around 11:40 or something like that. So I'm not sure if this is it. Adira, if you have anything on UNH, let us know. I know that's one of your favorites. That came in at 1044 exactly. Okay. We're going to Adira.
I don't see that Supreme Court headline, and I don't see any other news headlines on UNH. It honestly, oddly enough, for a name of this size, seems like a lot of retail excitement here on X. People are saying, oh, it's the best healthcare name. It's better than Hims. It's better than Oscar. Like, people are just getting really, really hyped about this online. People are saying, oh, I told you it was going to run. There's like a lot of excitement on X. We're talking like meme level of excitement, oddly enough, for a $300 plus ticker. If I see any news, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, it oddly seems to not be news motivated as far as I can tell. But that can always change. Sometimes we get news a little bit later. And I've noticed lately, we'll usually get the news like 5 to 10 minutes after the move. Back to you.
Okay, just one more thing I want to touch on here, Sharif, before we send it back to you, my friend, and that is just Bitcoin here. So I'm going to pull it up on another platform to see what we got going on and just why I decided to close my contracts for a loss, but then I also closed my swing shares as well too. So that balanced it out for a small gain, a couple $100, we'll take that. So it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. We'll take this. But I think this so this is what the thesis is, right, essentially, right? So I'm not saying that the trade is done. It's just I think we need to be a little bit more patient on this one. So there it is. You can see that we rejected that 108 level a couple of times. So we're constructing those lower highs. So once we sit on the backside of this trend, the most simplistic trade thesis there can possibly be, you break out through that, you get the retest, and then you look to participate on that front. And that's exactly what I'm looking to do here in Bitcoin. We'll use contracts because it's IBIT's only around $60 or so you can really leverage that. But with that being said, we just buy time, right? So like December, I had expiration. Now when I go to buy it again, I'll probably just go into January or February's expiration cycles and then look to allocate contracts in that area, Sharif.
All right, 1 second, just setting up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I can continue going. There's one thing that I also wanted to talk about, but we'll save that for if we do the news today. We'll touch on that because I found some interesting stuff on stable coins, which I think is really, really important. And just the adoption of this stuff over the past couple of years has essentially gone up 30 times. So yeah, I think a big time move is happening. We've seen it in the likes of Robinhood, Circle, and in Coinbase there as well too.
All right, guys. I just got into EYEN, so just pulled in to the 10 exponential. So let's see if it holds up here. So it's been holding up on previous occasions. So it's showing 1040 now. There is a seller here at 1040. Can't really shake them. All right, we're moving a little bit higher, 1045 now. Let's see if we can continue to work up. The spread's about 9 pennies, 10 pennies at times. EYEN, it's got decent volume, 2.5 million shares traded on the day with a lot of respect for the 10 exponential, but it is getting a bit top heavy with that 1075 high. Let's see if it wants to pop up and give us a nice move back to the high side here, possibly to touch $11. EYEN involved in this one at 40 pennies, looking for, okay, so just took out a bunch of my orders there. Good, good, good. Let's go ahead and set up a little bit more over here so it's showing me 1060s there. So we're set up at 69. There we go. Now it's showing me 67s. Let's wet the beak a little bit here as well. And then we're going to set up now at 88s. All right, here we go. We're setting up. There it is. Boom, man. It took out all the levels. EYEN, quick as you freaking like. Right back into that high of the day. It is at the high of the day. 1075, right off the 10 exponential moving average to the T. EYEN, very respectful of that level. We'll wet the beak here. Again, how many more shares we have? We still have several more. We can continue to take some prints to the high side here. So it is a double top, full disclosure, 1075, the HOD on EYEN. That seller at the $0.75 we can't shake, at least for the moment, and I won't be convinced that it's not a hidden order. Look at all these single-digit prints here on the size side of the. I don't even know what I'm saying. On the posted here on the side, so that's 9 lots. That's about there's 1 lot, so we just got up to 77s. So we do, I think, have a new high day. Yeah, it is technically 77. So we did breach that 75 penny area, but it's not really exploding to the high side like you would expect after possibly a hidden seller gets taken out there. So it's still 1077 HOD and not really pumping up any further. So I'm going to keep my eye here on EYEN. I'm posted up at 88. So we've still got about 11 pennies from the current high in order to get that print. So I'm going to keep my eye on EYEN. Let's go back now to HOVR, see how we're doing on that one. What's the situation? Okay, we're showing 87s. We're my long 84s. I still haven't gotten the print, though, sadly, at 88s. Now, full disclosure, we got in initially, took several prints to the high side, and then I got stop hunted.
Oh, wow.
And I literally got bottom wick on the stop hunt. I had it at 74, 75s. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been putting it at some obscure area like 73 or 72. When you post at the half or the 3 or the whole $0.75, the $0.25 usually gets stop hunted as people look to those levels, and that's exactly what happened to me there. Still positive on it, looking to make more here at that 188, and I'm layering my orders on this one. I'm talking about HOVR. It does have a bit of a topping tail, though. Sorry, not topping tail, rounded top, in the sense that it got to 93. That candle that got to 93, every successive candle after that is a lower high. So I am a little concerned about this one. We'll see how it ends up doing HOVR. Quickly here, back to EYEN, showing me 74s with that 77 high day still. I'm going to move up my stop on EYEN to break even. So we're going to go ahead, let's just post up there, and then we'll give it to right there. So we've given it a little bit below break even, just to give it a bit of room. So that's what I'm looking at right now, EYEN and HOVR. Let's talk about WFF as well. Where's that one at? There it is. So WFF, the psycho, is halted back to the high side here, 89% halted, this time at 12.59. The halt came in at about 3 minutes ago, 11:46.26. So the last time around, this one was a 15-minute halt. Let's see if it ends up being this long this time around. Joseph, that's what I'm looking at.
All right, good look there. So who said it? Someone in the chat said, Joe, short the Qs here. We just got to be patient, right? I'm not saying no, but I've been talking about it throughout the whole session. I've said it time and time again. If Microsoft, NVDA, and some of the other big names are ripping, you don't want to go against the market until you see them as a collective unit start to turn around, all right? So just be patient on that one there. So, yeah, I'm not saying it won't happen. You just got to wait for that right time, and you have to be extremely precise and be prepared to give it multiple entries as well, too. But NKE, who would have thunk it? Not me. That's for sure. I mean, I heard Brando saying this morning as well, too. He's like, yeah, he's starting to see a little bit more Nike around the gyms and stuff along those lines. I know Sharif loves Nike.
I love them, man.
Yeah, you love Nike.
Great,
I've moved on from it. I've moved on from it.
I just buy them from winners. That's why.
Yeah, that's fair.
They mark it down like half off.
The Dixie Outlet Mall has not a bad Nike. You ever been to that
Von
one?
Mills.
Yeah,
Von Mills got
the outlet as well there too. But yeah, I mean, a good look there on Nike today, especially.
You ever go to Innisfil? The one off the 400?
The Innisfil,
What's it called?
the Innisfil outlet.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, sick one
dude,
as
that's
well.
I used to live right, dude. That was my neck of the
You're
woods.
Bradford.
Yeah,
of course.
my neck of the woods. Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
So yeah, we always used to be around there. That Harvey's there used to be my favorite. So
the drive-through in the parking lot.
Man. That's when we were. It's funny when we would go to the cottage. It's like, all right, stop at that Harvey's.
100%.
And then remember the McDonald's that was across the street? It was, you never remember that. It was like probably, it was the most, it was classified as the most busy McDonald's on the 400.
Well, because everybody's, that's cottage
right
country.
there, right?
Why,
so
right? Yeah.
it was crazy because we would always meet up there after like we were partying, and then you'd be there like 2, 3 in the morning, and everybody would be
that
at
was
that
the meetup, eh?
That was the place. That was the
it.
place.
You got it.
Adara, what do you got for us?
Get it, Adara.
So some people in the chat saying President Trump is speaking right now. This was not on his calendar. He is holding a press briefing right now. He's not speaking about anything remotely related to the market, but I'm just letting you guys know he is talking. He can and sometimes will say anything, so just be aware. He's speaking. If I see anything, I'll let you guys know. Back to you.
I'm really rich.
That's probably what he said.
Rich.
I have a lot of money. I even have more money now that everybody's been buying Trump coin.
Yeah.
I'm very rich.
I'm really rich. Yeah, no, I'm saying Harvey's.
I like his blue tie.
Harvey's for it's a Canadian like a burger joint.
Yeah,
I don't think the Americans would know what that is, but I think it was my favorite for an extended period of time.
I just like how you can customize your burger.
Right, you can customize your own burger. I'd always get them to put some raw onions in my poutine and everything along those lines.
Move.
So that is the move. Yeah, bust the move. But yeah, let's see what we got going on. You can see that the overall market, this is the high of the day here, guys, and we're starting to bounce off of that. So maybe a longer time frame double top. Be patient just in case there is that liquidity grab, and then they slowly start to crawl over. I mean, the run that NVDA has been on, it's pretty extended here from VWAP, that is. And even on the daily, from a daily perspective, but also Microsoft, after it broke through, it now almost tapped into 499.50s, and then now it's put in an indecision print with some volume as well too. So just keep an eye out on that, just in case that top isn't broken, and then you look for more indecision in around the lows or slightly above it, and then maybe you get that curl over back towards VWAP. But the volume is supporting this move, especially as it punched through key resistance zone.
All right, guys, we're pulling back a little bit here on EYEN. It did get to a new high of day, so 1080 is the high of the day now. It's showing me 63s on the ask, 45 on the bid. It has been spready essentially all morning, but it's HOVR that I'm kind of concerned about here, because this one, it feels like it is really doing a rounded top effect, and that's not what I'm in it for. I'm not in it to DCA. I was in it for a $2 breakout, so I'm long 184 right now. Yeah, it's the issue with is you see a pattern like on the chart, but it's still above key technical levels. So that's where I always kind of get caught between two minds. I see a chart pattern that displeases me, but the technicals are showing me something different where it keeps defending a certain level. So I'm not really sure how to proceed here, whether or not I think the right move possibly to move up my stop, but I'll mull this over a little bit more, but WFF is taking out the levels again. Here we go. We're about to take out $14, $13.60 now. The high of the day is $14.61, so this one is on the warpath to the high side yet again, just clearing 100% or thereabouts. It's above the moving, so it's above all the moving averages that I've got. It's above the volume weighted average price. It's also above the previous halt level, which I use as intraday areas of support and resistance. That was around 1230 the price, not the time. So there it is, right, the current candle high on the 5, 1360, trying to hold above 13. It's got basically 3 candles on the 5-minute charts of a higher high and higher low. So this one could be headed for yet another high of day break. 1461, as I mentioned, is the high of the day. Yeah, I'm not punching in here certainly, but we'll have to wait and see how this one ends up trading. But what I want to do right now is I want to figure exactly whether I'm going to stay in my HOVR position or I'm going to get out here. There's just not enough volume. I'm flattening out here, break even on the rest. That's fine. I don't need to deal with this. This is not why I'm in the trade. The trade is just too lightly participated in. It's a dollar name. It barely has 2.25 million shares, so I don't think that that's the right one for me. So I'm going to step away from that one, and we'll look to do something else. We'll keep an eye here on the one that we're currently involved in, which is EYEN. I like the higher lows and higher highs here. I can be persuaded to add into EYEN. I've got a couple of more outs left. One I'm posted at 88, and then I'm going to save a piece for the dream. But what I see here on the chart on EYEN, at least on the 5, is successively higher low candles. You're not necessarily getting the higher highs on every single 5-minute candle, but you are getting higher lows. So if that's the case, then I can be persuaded to add at the 10 exponential, which is currently on my chart 10 mid-40s, 10 low 40s. That is the look there. 2 New York cents. I wanted EYEN at 1060 and I missed it. Good luck. I appreciate you, my man. The only reason I'm involved in EYEN is because it keeps showing me this pattern, which is respect for the 10. Right? Every time it dips into the 10, 2 New Yorks, like here it did it on a wick basis, but it doesn't matter. It still defended the 10 here. It did it on a closing basis, and this is where I weaseled in, this one right here. Alas, it is coming back down a little bit to 10.5. If it comes anywhere near my entry, we're gone Zeno. I've moved it up to break even on that one. So EYEN will lock in some profits. Disco, 22. Joe, Sharif, Apple, slowly creeping up, bros. Yeah, you know what, brother? I mean, it's at VWAP now. It could be a good short here. I don't trade large caps anymore, so I'm going to have to give that one to Joey, and he'll give you his opinion on it. I'm obviously invested in that one long term, but it's not one that you're going to see do much these days.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, we'll take a look at Apple. AAPL. That's my, oops, AA. Oh, get it together, kid. Come on. You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that.
There we go. So yeah, let's see how it reacts around here, right? So if you get a 5-minute inverted right below the volume weighted average price, then maybe it'll curl over and head back towards the lows. But this thing's just been trading within a range here, right, guys? We got to take that into consideration. I love it when you go like that, bro.
Bro, look at this thing.
Oh, are you back in it?
No, man. I'm looking at getting in on a micro pullback. Yeah, WFF, guys, is breaking out. Here we go. It's above 14. Joey, sorry to interrupt, man. 1461 high. It's about to clear 14.25. Here's 14.25. So this one is looking like it is destined to take out that high a day. It looked like it was going to flush to the depths of hell from which it came. I don't know where it came from. The point is it defended itself right there at 10.25. And here we go again. 1430. 1440 or so. I'm thinking I just saw there on the time and sales, 39, 38. So this one does look like it's going to take out the high, guys. What a move up here for WFF. This is the best looking small cap gapper right now, but it is the most dangerous of the bunch. That really should not be understated. There we go. Right into 14.5. Joseph Seller at the $0.50. We're still below the high of the day, and that is now incorrect. A new high a day on WFF, 14.91 and going. Where's that $15 level at, baby? It's just a matter of time here. So we're gonna keep an eye on that one. And sorry to interrupt you, Joseph, but we gotta send it to Adair. She's got breaking news.
Andy.
Just so you guys know, Donald Trump and his press conference, right now he's also with Pam Bondi and another individual. They're just started taking questions. So if there are already answers to these questions that are of note for the market, I of course will let you know. But just so you guys know, it is the Q&A portion of the situation. Back to you.
Is he talking about the Supreme Court decisions? He is talking about the Supreme Court decisions. Is he happy?
He's happy, but he didn't really say much. It's mostly Pam Bondi, who's like real hype over here. She's really excited about it. But yeah, I mean, Trump was happy, but he didn't really say much, actually.
Very happy.
Hey, Bash Bros, just waking up. All right, that must be nice. I mean, it is lunchtime. Hopefully you're on the West Coast there. Waking up to another winning week. Just gonna let my covered calls expire. I had no trade today, thanks to Neil, Sean, Sharif, Joe, Obi, and
Rodzilla.
Thank you, Rodzilla. And I pray that you are on the West Coast, because waking up at noon, my friend,
it's no good.
It's no good, yeah.
Maybe on Saturday or Sunday.
Wow, I couldn't even do that if I tried,
I haven't done that in many moons.
Yeah.
But
if I'm not at the gym by 9:30, to me the day is wasted. Yeah. It's like, you know how much time?
What's your problem, Ram?
Yeah. Yeah, what time did you? No, I don't even want to know what time you actually wake up on the weekend.
Guaranteed you wake up closer to noon on the weekends.
Yeah,
Are we right or wrong?
Yeah, we're right.
Yeah, right.
Every
other weekend,
now
she
you're
says.
BS here. I can read it.
All right.
Like 11:30.
Me on Fridays, Saturdays later, but every 9:30.
On the weeknights?
Yeah.
9:30, eh?
I'm up at 5 in the morning,
that's
dog.
Fair. That's fair, dog. That's fair.
She sleeps at 2 or 3.
Ramin's like, I was at 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. the other day. I'm like, yo, it's Wednesday.
Well, she liked my comment at 1 a.m. in the morning because she runs the TTV account. I wake up in the morning,
like
there's a like on the comment at
like,
1:30. It's like, go to sleep, woman. You got to be up the next day.
Man, to
and
be in
that's
the
what
20s,
she's doing.
in the 20s again. And starting for you, we're going to Adara and then Neil for his lesson of the day.
So right now, the market dropping a little bit. Donald Trump answering questions. I just paused a little bit there so I could hear what he's saying. He's just being asked about the Supreme Court decision. Nothing else has come up as of yet. But here's the Nasdaq pushing a little bit lower. Something else that was pushing a little bit lower here actually is NVDA, but it's still very, very strong at all-time highs. Congratulations to NVIDIA for a great performance and also for announcing the acquisition of a Canadian company actually located pretty close to TTV. It's called CentML. So NVIDIA reportedly going to acquire them. CRCL, opposite of NVIDIA, having a pretty rough day, opening around 225, currently trading around 191, so quite the blow here for CRCL, a name that's been pretty strong for quite a while. Maybe the tides are turning here. Coinbase, for its part, was also really weak this morning, another one that ran alongside CRCL, but bouncing nicely off the lows. Back to you. Or Neil and his lesson of the day.
Your lesson of the day, make sure you eat your lunch, Obi. Every time Obi does the show for Sean, I always note, like, I'll be sitting here and his lunch is sitting on his desk, and then we'll start the afternoon show at 2 o'clock and his lunch is still sitting on his desk. You know, food is important. No, but the lesson here is sometimes you're gonna miss, and it's so easy to get FOMO. But when you try to make the magic or get into a trade that was a missed opportunity, you'll want to try to get really simple about it, because when you FOMO into something, you can find yourself with bad timing, poor execution, and then just a heck of a lot of regret. And it's double regret when you've already missed a trade, and then you try to get the continuation play and you make a bad execution there. You're going to be in a worse mood. You're more likely to hold past the stop because you're already feeling it. So when we're talking about being patient, the examples I'm going to use today are some that I traded, some that I didn't. One that I didn't get was Nike. Now, obviously, Nike, on the earnings, I don't care what you think about the earnings here, they gapped up, and it was about as clean of a breakout trade as you're ever going to see, literally hugging VWAP at the pre-market, so there was that, then it was breaking out. Now, for the entirety of the first 15 minutes, there was nothing red about this stock. It was just screaming to the upside, finally caught a top. Now, clearly, this is a missed opportunity. And as it started to pull back, you've got to ask yourself, like, where you want to get in. Now, where a lot of times I think the mistake gets made is this is like this kind of a candle people are trying to enter. Like, oh, this is the dip, let's go. We got to have it here. But if you're really, really patient, it actually sets something better up. And I'll get to VWAP, which is, to me, that's where you should be in. When you have something like this, it shows you a bottom, confirms a bottom, rinses said bottom, and then goes. That's a good continuation long. When it does this little rinse, and even on the next candle, it still gives you into the prior low. That's the level of patience you want with a chase trade. It's not that this trade here wouldn't necessarily work. You can be long at a bad price at like 72 and still get the $0.50 move. Hold it until oblivion against you, and then still get the $3 move. That still works. But if it breaks down, you've got yourself a terrible price. Even if it stops out, your risk to reward is no good. If you're really patient about it, after the opening push, this is the kind of entry you want. Save yourself 15, 20 cents. VWAP speaks for itself. Bottoming tail candle, trend break under VWAP. That's when you're all over. The other thing that can happen is maybe you've got FOMO or you're pissed off because you had it and you let it go. Now, I'll tell you right now, I had NVIDIA at the open, the first opening rush. Now, let me just go to a 1 for a second. I'm going to go to a 1 minute so you can see this a little bit better on a 1, and then I'll come back to the 3 minute for you guys. Because I didn't have that going into 137. Like, it pulled back off 137, and I dip bought it and then got the rally. So I don't want anyone to get the impression when I look at that 3 minute chart that I was sitting here like with the money and then let it go all the way up to $1.50 and then not get any out. I lost here getting out and didn't get back in. But you've got to have an idea where you want to get. Pull back into the prior high, try it once, try it twice. Here's where it gets tricky. It stops me out underneath 157. At this point, before I've made this trade, I know what I'm looking for. Either we hold the opening range top at 137, or I wait for the volume weighted average price. So I'm long in front of it, I'm out when it breaks. The second it holds, I'm back in. The other thing you can always do, and I say this all the time, Joey Options loves to do this. If I'm taking a 157 long, and I'm going to trail this out at 158 or under 158, well, then why not take the breakout and then leave my trail in? It allows me to be in the money, get a new price somewhere under 157, 7 or so. That ends up being a breakout trade, and then you get to free roll it, as he says, back into the high. So it's an ad where I was going to trail anyways. But you cannot get the FOMO. Like, I didn't chase it, I'm like, oh my goodness. Didn't try to get it on the way up. Waited for my pullback into the levels, wait for your pullback in the level, wait for your confirmation, and then jam. It requires so much more discipline and patience when you've missed a home run to then get in, get doubles, singles, and then actually sometimes get a home run after that. But know before you take the trade, this is what I'm waiting for. I cannot chase this move. This is what I'm waiting for. I can't chase NVIDIA. I don't have entries here. Okay, VWAP would have been one. I don't have entries here. I got to wait for this pullback into 137 because that's my level. If I don't get it, I don't get it. If I do, I got to be willing to pounce, and I got to be willing to give it some shots. So many traders, it's not, look, FOMO is going to happen to everybody. It's what you do after the fact. And you need to be more on guard in a situation where you have maybe bungled an A-plus trade or turned a winner into a loser or just missed out on something that was gigantic. Because in that moment, you are easily going to be more susceptible to bad execution, too wide a stop, just getting that deer in the headlights because you're frustrated there. So determine, okay, what do I actually need to see here before I get back into this thing, and just be willing to miss it if it doesn't happen. It requires a lot of discipline. Hopefully, you're able to catch it. I know Nike was a miss for me. I know what I should have done. With NVIDIA, at least we did do it today, and that's why NVIDIA's NVIDIA, so going long has generally been working out the last couple of days, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to pay attention to your execution strategy, because it really matters. Oh, and by the way, just one last one. I do this every single time. I have to. I got out of all of Palantir before it got to VWAP. I do this. Like, the second it does this move at 138 on a downtrend, I get out. And I get out exactly when it's breaking the trend line. Worst exit ever. But I didn't FOMO back into it. So it would have worked if I FOMO'd back into it. But again, you're looking for something specific. That's poor stop placement, in my opinion. Because a lot of times that's almost like an ad there, like what I was doing on NVIDIA. But I didn't FOMO back into it. Winning trade's a winning trade. But ideally, you just have to look back, be calm about it, don't get freaked out, and then just do a little bit better next time. Stay profitable, everybody. Stay consistent, and enjoy the rest of the midday show.
Donald Trump is still talking here, guys, during this press conference, answering questions. He did say some things about Powell again. He said the only problem we have right now is the guy at the Fed who won't cut rates. If he lowered rates, it would be great, and borrowing would be a lot cheaper. He also said that, again, some trade deals, he said that the U.S. is in talks, or actually has made deals with probably 4 or 5 countries, quote unquote, did not specify who these countries were, and when we're going to actually get news about these deals. He also said apparently Iran wants to meet up, and he said that some nations are going to be disappointed because of the tariffs, because they're not making deals with everybody. Back to you.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, he's always going to talk off the cuff, and even if it's not scheduled for that topic, he's going to give you his opinion on it.
Yeah, of course. There's no denying
Still
that.
talking, right?
I got a SBET. Okay, we'll take a look at that, but I'm gonna just remove that from the chat because it's slightly annoying, and I don't like it when you guys do that. So yeah, let's see if we can catch a fill here on the TQs. We'll be patient to see if he comes back in. I don't want to chase it at the lower end of the range. So now if you get that squeeze type play, then maybe you get a liquidity grab, and then it slowly starts to curl over. So we'll be patient. We'll stay posted up there and see what we got going on. Joe, if you could have only 2 stocks in a long-term portfolio, which would they be? Wow, that's a fantastic question. I heard Neil say Bitcoin. I would have that. I would most definitely have Bitcoin. And then the second one's tough. I would have to go probably Bitcoin and NVDA or maybe JP Morgan. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would go to. Sharif, if you can only have 2 names.
I got it
here.
focused.
Okay, you got it. He's hyper-focused there. So yeah, I think that's it. No, Hood. You know what, Neil? Hood is fantastic and it's been on a great run. But would I want that as my only 2? That's a great question. Let's take a look at Hood because maybe he's just referring to it and then not necessarily saying, hey, that would be my pick. But I mean, yeah, Hood went from 82 to... or 80, would it open up at 84 and then put in a low of around 82? So I think it would be Bitcoin and NVDA would be my 2 picks. Even though, I mean, the growth, I don't know, it's not as exponential as it was before in the early 20s with NVDA, but I think that would still be one of the names, a safe haven, I think. And then with the likes of Bitcoin and it only being a certain amount out there, a certain supply out there. So I think those would be the 2 names in there. But thank you very much for that super chat. Much appreciated. And a very interesting topic. I'm curious to what everyone else would say on that one there. But what do you got going on?
All right, we're back into WFF, guys. 13, I'm long 13, 14. We just printed at 88s. I've set up at 98s now, okay? So here we go again. A beautiful hold off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. WFF is still in play. Keep your eye out on this one. 75s now, seller at 75. The spread is tightening up, but it's still wide for a name like this, especially given that it's done almost 10 million shares now here, showing 80s. Can we clear? We're showing 93s. I'm waiting at 98s, I believe. We'll take it out here and we'll cancel that order. Boom to the high side. Joseph again on WFF. Go, WFF, go. Bang. Okay, so we didn't take quite the dollar on that one, but there it is. Moving on up. Good look here for WFF. 1547 high a day. What I really liked about this one, let me bring in the 5-second chart. So again, I'm trying to use the 5-second chart here to be able to identify micro pullbacks, and I want to show you exactly what I saw on this one so that, well, we can learn together because, you know, I'm still executing this strategy. So what I saw here was rejection after rejection of the 50 period, okay? And then we found a bottom here at 1275. So I was like, all right, good look. But we're still not above the 50 period. So we kept putting in higher highs and higher lows when we had decidedly lower highs and lower lows. So what I said to myself is we clear this 50 period that we've rejected once, twice, 3 times. We clear it on the 4th. That's why I got involved with that. So I'm trying to identify the micro pullbacks on the 5-second chart. It's not something that I would, recommend you start off with, but something that's certainly helping me in being able to identify where the levels of support and resistance are, at least in the short term. A lot of people use Bookmap for that and other resources. You can also use level 2. But the problem is when you use it on level 2, you got to remember exactly what the level was every single time. Whereas if I look on the chart in the 5-second, it obviously gives me a visual representation that I can refer back to multiple times. So I'm happy with how I traded this one. We'll look to improve on holding because obviously I didn't get the top there. But that has been my thinking here with this small cap gapper trading setup. So that's been what I've been thinking there. Zion, is there major news on WFF? To be honest with you, brother, I don't even know. I don't really care about the. Dara says there's no news. I'm just taking a gander here in case something came in. No, she's absolutely right. I don't see anything, dude. And I'm going all the way back to yesterday. So apparently this was running yesterday as well. This is it. All right. So it's from yesterday. So WF Holding Limited announces plans for major investment in China. Thank you for the details on that. So detailed. This is what it is. WF Holding enters cryptocurrency sector, appoints Bull Coin Asset Management as consultant. Collaboration aims to assist with market research, blah, 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 blah. I don't really care. I trade these for the technicals, to be honest with you. I don't really think these are fundamental stocks that you should be holding for more than a few minutes. I mean, depending really how you're trading them. Go ahead, Adair.
That news I found, that was from Tuesdays when they first announced it, and they pulled back a little bit. They have like about an 8 million share float, so nothing super significant. I just want to provide a little bit of context. I did see that headline, but it was a couple days old, 2 days old. But as we know with these small caps, sometimes they have a pause for a couple days, and they go back again. No breaking news, though, for WFF anyway. Back to you.
And you're absolutely right about that. There is nothing breaking, but here we go. We may break here, Adair. $15 again with the high of the day, $15.47. So that would not be a high day break, but I'll submit to you guys, we have not had any closing prints above that $15 area. WFF seems like it's on one right now. It is not giving up the ghost. The volume profile is still quite good. You're not really getting a major decline in volume, so the market is participating, I should say, in this. Above 15 we go. We do have resistance here in the low 15s, 15.01, 2, 3, something like that. Kind of hard to see at the moment. I'm keeping my eye on the 5-second chart that I have on my top screen there. So the local area highs seem to be 15.10. So there is a seller at 10 that we couldn't shake, but I'll submit to you, there's likely going to be sellers every which way until we clear out 15.47. I don't even know what the short float on this is. I know Adair just gave us the float. The short float is not available on Trade Idea, so I don't know what it is. If you guys have, I don't want to say accurate because we know that this data can be old. If you guys have a number for the short float, tag Joseph or I in the chat and let us know what you're seeing there. But I'm not seeing anything here. Joseph, rejecting 15s we are at the moment, but we still have a higher low and a higher high currently on this 5-minute candle. So WFF in play. Trade carefully.
Yeah, very, very carefully. I mean, who is this? Who is this individual right here? I can't ever. This is crazy. Nike now up 18%, 8.4.
People are pounding the table about this. They're saying that the turnaround is in. It's an inflection point for the company. I'm not saying it. I'm telling you what the analysts are saying. I was reading this morning.
Yeah.
Apparently, the beef was that they really wanted to, the previous CEO really wanted to focus on the direct-to-consumer to increase margins. He wanted to get the Dick's Sporting Goods, the Foot Lockers all out of the way. They were eating margins. So he's like, let me make my own stores, which we know Nike has stores, and to use direct-to-consumer online. And that was supposed to increase margins. But what it did do was give the product exposure like the way the stores had.
Yes.
I was telling Brendo, you know, 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 3 walls of a store could be the Nike product,
absolutely,
and so you could kind of display your stuff.
Well,
apparently, they're going back to that.
Yeah, well, I was reading a little bit on the report as well too, and I heard they're going to chew about $1 billion bill just from tariffs.
Just
right?
from tariffs.
Just from tariffs. So I'm like,
already priced that in.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Adair, what do you got for us?
I have a really odd headline coming out here from this Trump conference. Keep an eye on TXN, bouncing right now, but it did actually drop a little bit. Donald Trump, this is the second day in a row that President Donald Trump has mentioned that TXN is going to be investing money in the U.S. What's interesting this time, too, is he said, and again, we can't confirm this, that I believe the CEO of TXN came to him personally and said, Donald Trump, you can't take the tariffs away. What will you do if we take the tariffs away? So Trump claiming that someone from TXN is actually saying that they want to keep the tariffs because it's apparently good for TXN's business. Again, we're getting all of this from President Donald Trump, nothing from TXN itself, but also Donald Trump saying that regardless of who gets elected next, the tariffs are never going away. Again, not sure how much of that can be controlled, but either way, interesting tariff-related headlines coming from this conference, and back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, interesting stuff there on Nike, putting on a big session today, sure.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Level your trading game up with Prop XP. Up to 1 to 200 leverage and static drawdowns. Scroll the site and pick your challenge at propxp.com. And you can trade directly on their platform. Sign up, try it for free, and start your trading journey today. You get to enjoy rapid payouts and real human support. No bots, guys. It's rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot. Trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, you get 50% off with code TraderTV. The link is in the description. So be the trader, get funded, and join Prop XP today. Prop XP, baby. Your edge starts here. Visit. Can you guess?
Prop XP.
Boom.com, my man.
Yes, man. It's winning.
I love it. Good vibes.
Google Google dragging the market down here with it, guys. So we didn't catch a fill on that. So that's unfortunate because that would have been a pretty nice trade. I wasn't going to punch. I was just like, let me be patient just in case of what's going on. So yeah, market's slowly starting to curl over here, guys, heading back in towards the volume weighted average price. You can see Google punching through these this 173.55 support level and then now coming back into 172. I mean, by all means, continue to do so because I'm just going to grab some more here on this pullback. We got a nice couple of sessions here. Gap up, gap up, gap up. And then now starting to pull back a little bit. So yeah, maybe we get the retest of this trend line. I'll still hold on to the position, add some shares, add some contracts, and then boom, make a hold for that the break of this 180 level. So that's going to be a nice key support level as well too. And then we'll obviously just continuously monitor what's going on in the options chain. What we see at 175 is that concentration going to be lifted in strike prices, or is it going to stay roughly where it's currently sitting at? So that is Google. I like this pullback that I'm seeing in it because it's going to give me an opportunity to grab some more shares.
Well said, Joseph. I'm keeping an eye here on EYEN, guys, because this one, well, we got stopped out of it for the last remaining amount when we were on break with Neil's lesson of the day and happening now. So this one did lose a 10. So as soon as it lost the 10, I was out. 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is what I mean by that. It just bottoming tailed into the volume weighted average price, which on my chart is showing 985, 986. Pardon me, back above 10 it goes, showing 1007 now. So what I'm waiting for here is proof that it wants to hold the volume weighted average price as support. And I think given the spread on this one, I will insist that it make a new candle, make a 5-minute high. Sorry, to make a new 5-minute high on the current candle above the previous one is what I mean by that. So it's got to get above 1015, I believe. The previous high was, yeah, 1015. So if it closes above 1015, then I'll get back into this one. There it goes to 1020. It still hasn't closed, but it's got a higher low and a higher high. And you see how it jumped up from like 1002 to 1020. And the reason it does that is because it's illiquid. So the bid is showing something super depressed, closer to 10, 1002, 1005, and the ask is showing something at around 10 and a fifth. And that is not good for small cap trading, because the idea with small cap trading is you get in and out with large amount of shares for small movements. And when you try to do that with a wide spread, it gets you into all sorts of trouble. So despite the fact that it's holding at the volume weighted average price, I really don't like the spread on this, and I don't want to have to trade something I don't like on the day. So I'm going to keep my eye here on EYEN, but I'm not really motivated, I got to tell you, to trade it just because of the spread. I'm going to keep my eye, though, firmly fixed on WFF, because this one is still putting in higher lows and higher highs. It's very close to 15 and has been wicking above 15. It hasn't been able to close, though, above $15. So this one, to me, feels like it's just a matter of time until we're above that high day at 1547 now. It's got 125% in Greensville today, which is the #1 gapper on the market. After the bell, obviously, BGL and LCFY above it, but BGL is a buyout, so that doesn't interest me. And here we go. We're at the high of the day, 1547 again on WFF. There's a seller of note here because we're not printing anything above it. He's been killed. 1580 high a day. They just took him out, no problem. 1599 high a day, 1619 high a day. This thing is on the rampage to the high side, Joseph. What a move up for WFF. Fantastic look on this one. Good technicals, good support, good move up, and bad spread, though. That's the only thing I can say that's bad about this one. The spread is wide. Otherwise, it's been respectful of technicals, putting in higher lows and higher highs. Let's see if this one's going to halt. 1642 high a day. Where's my WFF screen at? Pardon me, there it is. So let's keep an eye on this for the halt parameters to start triggering. It is now a 1682 high day, and here it is. 1682 is going to be the halt parameter where it starts doing that, we're showing you it's going to gray out. We have to wait until this starts graying out over here, and there it is. Halted to the high side right now. 1682 makes this trade look like absolute crap. Getting in at 13 into 14, and then it goes to almost 17, Joseph. But I've seen this story before.
You've seen it. All right. We go behind the scenes, look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your progress in real time, live stats, profit, and more. You can break down every trade, see your entry, exit, and how it's played out on the chart. Check the certificates page for your full summary, achievement, and payouts. In this clip, that's Michael T. He's already earned over $75,000 in total payouts. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. Ready to level up? Visit Trade the Pool or scan the QR code on the screen there, guys. Very interesting stuff. Microsoft is really starting to pull in here. A lot of these big names are starting to come in towards the volume-weighted average price. So let's see if we can get this bounce here on AMD. You guys can see that I'm long off of this hammer here. But with the Nasdaq and some of these tech names starting to come in, it could be a little dangerous. And that's a pretty aggressive downslope that we're experiencing right now. But the one thing I will note, we crack and hold this low, then we'll just hop out of that trade, no worries. Adara, what do you got for us?
Here, CRSP and EDIT on watch. Endpoint, which is like a biopharma-based news source, is saying that the CEOs apparently from various companies are pushing the EU to include cell and gene therapy initiatives or incentives, in the Biotech Act. So CRSP and EDIT, both in the gene therapy and cell therapy space, moving up here as again we get a report from Endpoint that some CEOs are trying to push the EU to include cell and gene therapy incentives in their Biotech Act. Keep an eye on the market as well. Donald Trump still speaking. He did preview his press conference later today, I believe at 3 p.m. with leaders or foreign ministers, from the republics of Congo and Rwanda. But he said also he didn't comment on the idea of the trade deadline slipping to Labor Day. So unclear his thoughts on that, but just be aware here. Market on watch. Trump still talking, still taking questions. I'll let you know when that ends. Back to you.
Very much for that, Adara. All right, perfect. Let's start to take some out here on AMD. That one worked out really well for us off of that signal out the lows. And then now we have the ability to possibly crack that downtrend and climb a little bit higher. So there it is, AMD cooking up for us right now. Close to the lows, we would hop out at the break of this level right here. So be patient. Let's see if we can take some more off. I only took about 5 or 10% off just to lock some in. And if it comes back against my break even, then so be it. But Microsoft really starting to tank. Now coming off of that previous high, we did break that wick high, and then now we're coming back in towards the volume-weighted average price. So we didn't quite get to that 499.50 or that 500 level that we were looking at. It rejected slightly aggressively, and you can see the momentum slowly start to pick up there, guys. So keep that in mind. I was thinking of shorting it too, but I mentioned with my whole spiel on not shorting strong stocks, and I were to go and do that, and it worked me, then I would have ate that one for breakfast there. So we don't want to do that, but yeah, you got to take it when the setup is there.
All right, guys, each year, 3.8 million concussions are sadly reported in the United States, yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment for it. On the New York Stock Exchange listed Origenics under ticker OGEN is trying to change that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With concussion treatment market projected to reach about $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. So if you're interested in learning more and schedule a meeting, check out Origenics, guys. Great look there, and shout out to them. Good, obviously, cause.
Good cause.
I can't believe you sent that video, Ramram. I haven't actually seen that when Adara and I were on the midday. And obviously, it makes sense because Adara startles very easily. So I guess that's what we were doing that for. We actually had a plan. Sorry to tell you this, Adara. We had a plan, Ramram and I, that we would try to startle Adara at every possible opportunity and then create a compilation of Adara getting startled. And then, Adara, we tried to startle you. And then you weren't startling. Yeah. And then when we don't try, you startle.
So there it is.
So, we couldn't get it right, Adara. That's why the video didn't make it to the scene.
This is shocking news. I am... Plot twist of the century.
No, you knew
M. Night Shyamalan. We're all shook. Anyways, I'll leave.
There you go. Shut it, Adara. There you shut it. She shut it on you there. We took a little bit more off on AMD there, guys. So let's see if this trade can continue to hold up. I mentioned we are rejecting that downtrend line right now. So maybe we get a pullback. And if we have the inability to crack this low, then I think there's going to be an opportunity for an additional entry. But Microsoft really starting to sell aggressively. Google, come to Poppy. We're ready to buy some more there. Oh no, Ramin, the look that Ramin just gave me, not good. I won't say that again there. I apologize. Adara, what do you got for us?
I'm about to just answer a pretty interesting question here about crypto at this conference. I just have DJT up here. So people basically people asked, well, if there's people voting against crypto bills for political reason, would you at all be tempted, President Trump, to get out of your crypto holdings? He didn't really answer the question. He said, well, my family's involved in that stuff, and that if the U.S. didn't have crypto, then China would. But he also said Bitcoin will take some pressure off of the dollar, and that the U.S. created a very powerful crypto industry. So he didn't really answer the question, but he did tout the crypto industry in the U.S. Keep an eye on some of these crypto names, not really moving, but DJT also on watch. We know they're trying to move more firmly into that crypto space as well. Back to you.
3. Frustrating. Mubtasim.
Just do it. Do it. You didn't remember that Shia LaBeouf thing? He's like, just
You've mentioned
dude,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
never saw that, but
just
I like
do
Shia.
it. I love Shia.
He fights. He gets into a lot of
Yeah, he's
issues
got a
with
lot.
paparazzi,
I mean, he was
doesn't
a child star as well too. We know how.
That's fair, man.
Yeah, the child stars have been doing up. So our poor guy JB, the press isn't making him look good at all.
No. Mubtasim. Shout out to Mubtasim. Thank you very much, my friend, for the $5 super chat.
I'm really rich.
I just saw the auction price for WFF touch 25 and drop right back down to halt price. Does that mean it will make it there? No. The halt price, so great question, by the way. Thank you for that, and thank you for the super chat. So the halt, what's happening during the halt? You're essentially getting an auction. Very similar to the opening auction that the Katina Man, the Neil show you every day at around 9:20, 9:25, right before the opening bell. And so they're looking at the order imbalances. And what that is, during the halted time
I
of
didn't even
WFF.
mean to do that. I'm such an idiot.
You want to go ahead with something?
No, there's a super chat. I didn't even mean, I honestly didn't mean to delete it. I apologize for that, Alfredo's options trade. I honestly, truly didn't.
You see what it was?
Yeah, I did see what it was.
Let me just address this, and then you can address that.
Well, I'm not going to repeat it, to be honest with you, but I just didn't mean to delete it. It wasn't, it was slightly odd, to be honest with you, but yeah.
So,
I'll tell you off.
No worries, no worries. So what's happening during the auction is what they're doing, Mubtasim, is they're basically pairing buy and sell orders. So let's just say currently right now, Assassino, if I can show the screen. Basically right now we're halted at 1891. The tap is showing me 1891, so there is currently an equilibrium of buy and sell orders coming into the exchange during the halt. And the way that they come in through the exchange is through a special type of order called a limit on open or a market on open. And what you're telling the exchange, or you're telling the computer to do, is to basically pay up to a certain price or market in the market on opening's case, as soon as it opens, okay? So what they do is they start pairing the buy and sell orders, and if there's an imbalance to one side or the other, it reflects on the top, which is the theoretical auction price. So if there is a wave of buy orders that momentarily, Mubtasim, pushes up the theoretical auction price so that there's a heavy imbalance for buys, it will reflect that in the tap. If there's another wave of sell orders that bring back that into equilibrium like it is right now, 1894, so we barely have a buy order imbalance, barely, right? So that's what the tap is showing you there. And so can it be manipulated? Yes, it can, because, well, I can just send an order, a limit on open order that will likely not get filled, right? Once you send a market on open or a limit on open, my understanding is you can't cancel them, but that's on our platform. I don't know if you can cancel them on other platforms, all right? So that's what we're seeing right now. So you got to keep your eye on the tap while we're halted, but it by no means is the last say in the matter, right? So that's what I want to kind of mention there. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for asking that question, because I'm sure a lot of people have that question.
I sent you the message there, Sharif, of the super chat. If you want to read it, feel free to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. What the hell is happening there, bro?
What the hell?
You do that? Okay. Thank you, Alfredo, for that super chat. I'm not sure why you would say something like that, but we're going to Adair LePage.
Just keep an eye here on the market. We did have, I mean, if you look here on our P-Pro charts, this is Z-Signal and P-Pro, we did get a little bit of a spike to the downside on, I'm guessing, dark pools. Donald Trump was asked, would you consider bombing Iran again? He said, yeah, if he needs to, if there's nuclear issues, 100%, he would be considering that. So geopolitical issues could still be continuing. He is still answering questions, and he's actually pretty excited to answer more. So we do not know when this is going to end. Back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow, look at Bitcoin go. Good job, Joe, on selling. I mean, it's fine, and we're in roughly right where it started, but a nice breakout there on Bitcoin through some of these highs. Yeah, and maybe you can get the continuation on this thing, but a nice move here, recovering. You can see this base form there, guys, and then now nice engulfing candle as it punches through some key resistance zones, and that's what you want to see. That's essentially picture perfect right there. So a really good look on IBIT right now, guys. Hopefully some of you are long. Tyler Verse in the chat was telling me, Joe, get long some IBIT, and I said, all right, brother, I'll hop in long with you, but unfortunately I didn't do that. But Gorev, nice look here on this candle. I know this is what you're referring to on Tesla. You get that break of that 324, and then you head right into the volume-weighted average price. And right now, who knows what can happen? We just got to keep an eye out on this downtrend line. And if that snaps and is held to the top side, you sit on the back side of that hold, and then now you hold VWAP as well, too. There can be a potentially good long on that one. So really good call out on that. You already got a couple points or a point and a half there if you did play the break of the high of that candle there. So that's what I got going on. We're all out of AMD. I mean, good out on that one. Yeah, exactly. Good out on that one as it tanked ferociously to the downside. So yeah, watch out for that. You got to get out when you're supposed to, and then now there it goes, boom, ready to make a new low. And I mean, go boom, boom, boom.
Love it, man.
Seen it? VWAP, you say? Bing bong.
Bing
Yeah.
bong.
Oh, ooh, hey yo. There we go.
Turn around and let me see
let's see what we got going. Who sings that there?
Keep forgetting, dude.
I know. Too.
Dude, Neil, you're killing me, bro.
Wait, okay, anyways, thanks for embarrassing me here. I'm trying to get a percentage metric. That's not the stock that I want either, so maybe it's the trading gods helping me out a little bit. And still not cooperating with me. But okay, anyways, on to the next thing here. What a move from these Liberation Day lows AMD has been on it. That's almost okay, so we'll call it 74. We're at 140. Bang, that's a 100% move right there. Bang, just like that, Sharif, in AMD. So quick maths.
Adara, look how short your hair is here. Wait, I don't know whether they're showing the screen. There we go. This is the video. My hair looks super weird here too. I feel like your hair is a lot longer than this. Yeah, it's like a lot
Play it
different
one more time. The jump is crazy.
Oh yeah, bro. Well, that's actual reality though. Like, she'll startle that easily. She will. She actually will in real life.
Yeah. Yo, you're just like you just turn around and go right back to your desk. Cold.
Ram. How long ago was that? I say year and a half deep. Year and a half. When did it say on your phone? When did it say on your phone? Like the timestamp on your phone. Guys, while Ram finds out the timestamp, this thing is going absolutely wild. This thing is up now $20.75. It may halt here at 20.75. This is the halt parameter triggering again. It is now up 212.5%. WFF is absolutely crazy. It does seem like it's going to halt. There we go. We get the gray out. Unbelievable move here for WFF. It makes these trades that I had look, it makes me really feel bad about these trades, even though they're very profitable, but it makes me feel so stupid.
On screen, guys. Screen.
It's okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it makes me feel quite silly, having traded in this way, but you just don't really know when you're going to get the squeeze. We don't even know what the short percentage is on this, but what a move up for WFF. Yeah, Neil, it's insane, dude. It's insane, and it's all gas, no brakes. It's holding technicals. It's respectful of the 10. Joseph, and on top of that, how many times have you heard me say intraday areas of halts are intraday areas of support and resistance? Look at this. This is the halt right here. The high, the halt, 1682. Look at this candle here. 1677. It tests it perfectly. Like, you can't tell me, 5 pennies, that's what's going to make a difference. These halt levels are fantastic intraday areas of both support and resistance. Once you open up, so for example, we on this candle here, this is where we halted, 1682. Where did we open up at? We opened up at 1724. We moved all the way up to 1895, but before doing that, we tested that area low. So great look here for WFF. Let's keep an eye on it. I don't think it's done yet. I'll wait for a pullback before getting into this one, but fantastic look here for WFF. EYEN as well. This is a beautiful hold off volume weighted average price, and I kept saying I'd get in. I never got in, and by the time I came back, it was far removed from the area, so I didn't punch back in. But EYEN also up over 40% at the day's high, 11 and a quarter or just thereabouts. So another one you can keep your eye out here if you like these small cappers. If not, then I guess not. Oh, there we go. What's SEK again? The currency? Do you remember? Swedish krona. Thank you, Adira. Shout out to David Lindenberg. Is it Lindenberg? Yeah, it is Lindenberg. David Lindenberg. Thank you very much, my friend, for the super chat. For my long-term account, done the fundamentals on Microsoft and in love with how they're moving and want to add to my position. What is your opinion on the technicals? Well, it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to let Joey speak for himself, but I'll speak for myself as well. When Joseph had the Microsoft daily chart up, the first thing that caught my attention was that gap, the initiation gap. MSFT. See how it's screwing up? MSFT. I don't know what's going on with it. That's fine. Let's go to the daily. And what I really like about this is the initiation gap. Now, you're not going to see it because I include pre-market and aftermarket data. But if I was to remove that, have a gander at this. There it is. There's the initiation gap. And the beautiful thing about initiation gaps is they're made even better when they break through technical areas of resistance. Let me make my case. How many times did we reject 395.4? Quite a bit. Since we were up at around 455, we lost it. We tried once. We tried twice. We tried OB thrice. And then on the fourth time, Joseph, it was not just a clearing, but a huge gap from the 395 we closed out. The next day, we opened up at 431. That's an earnings play, obviously. You can see the volume. But this is an initiation gap for me, okay? So the initiation gap obviously is one of these technical patterns. So what I don't see here is the continuation gap that we're supposed to also see on the way up into, well, who knows where this goes. So I like it. I pick it up off, the 10 or the 20. Or yeah, the 10 here is around 490. Any pullback is into the 10, and it's shown you that it's been respectful of the 10. I mean, since that initiation gap that we had, every move into the 10 has been defended. The money fill here seems to be to the 10 and the 20. So that's just my opinion on Softy. I think it's a hell of a breakout. It's just a matter of time until we're above 500 bucks. But maybe, just maybe, we reject 500 for a little bit and then retrace. That might be your entry. So today, the high of the day is 499.30. So we'll see how today ends up closing, Joseph. What's your opinion on the technicals on Microsoft?
Yeah, I've been analyzing this thing, so I can tell you just off the top of the dome piece here. For me personally, I wouldn't be, again, that's the thing, right? Like for me, I would wait for that pullback because the run that it's been on, it's just been absolutely insane. So I think what you can do, and I don't know how much capital you have, if you want a specific price, you can just start selling puts, right?
Good point.
So then regardless, so there's multiple outcomes that can come from this, right? So you sell some puts, you collect some premium, it doesn't come into your strike price, and those don't finish in the money, you make money. It comes back to that level. You're now your contracts now expire in the money. You're the proud owner of Microsoft at the specific level that you want to own it at. So it's kind of a win-win situation if you're already positioned relatively well. Adara, what do you got for us?
Trump ended his press conference. He's just ending the questions with a pretty big way, and it has to do with Fed Chair Powell. So Donald Trump, his last question he received, right now he's just saying like some closing remarks, but he's not taking any more questions. The last question he received was, who are your thoughts for the next Fed Chair candidate? Instead, he criticized Fed Chair Jerome Powell for, I think, at least 3 minutes. He said, oh, he's terrible. That was his first response. He said he's not a smart guy. He said that he could be saving the U.S. $900 billion a year if he gets rates down to 1% because Trump wants the U.S. to have the lowest interest rates in the world. And then at one point, he did an impression of Fed Chair Powell. He said, oh, we want costs to come down. Oh, he just does this little thing for 5 minutes, and then he goes to the beach. So I just wanted to share that because pretty interesting stuff here. Donald Trump has not at all cooled off with his dislike for current Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Back to you.
You're
This is fantastic, bro. Once you get on this guy's bad side, watch the hell out, bro. He won't shut the hell up about you. Like, He needs to get his way no matter what.
Yeah, of course. He's just gonna troll you until
God.
he knows that he's out the door anyways.
So good.
And
So
not too
Powell
long.
too, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that's what I was referring to. Powell out the door, right?
Yeah.
Trump still got 3 years. So my issue with 1%, the thing is, we're still in that pandemic level spending. I think we need to get back to pre-pandemic level spending in order for us to not reignite inflation. 1% I think is too dangerous of a print. I think that people would just start to buy things the consumer would really amp up. You don't think so?
I don't think he cuts 1%, Joseph.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm getting, right? We're still in that pandemic level spending. You need to get to pre-pandemic level spending, and then maybe if you're lucky, you can have 1%.
I just don't think that I don't think he'll do that.
No.
He did do that, though. I do believe, fact check me, chat, I could be wrong. The initial raise, when he raised, I think it was, when was it? November?
His first increase?
It was like March 2022.
Something along
Was it
those lines.
1%?
I understand where you get.
Was it 1%? It was something like that.
75. I'm pretty sure the first couple of were 75s.
75 and a couple of ones, Dara says. Yeah, so he did it on the way up, but we saw like a 9% print, an 8% print. So it was like super late to the party.
Super late
We're
to the
not
party.
getting that, though. We're not getting negative, so I'm not really...
No, I mean, it's cool, the euro. It's cool. It's cooling, right? We know that. But I think just to go, Dara, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say that Donald wants interest rates to go down to 1%, or he wants... Yeah, exactly. So no, see you later. You're not getting that whatsoever, especially at this level of spending.
Yeah,
There's no way.
That's not going to happen.
It's not sustainable. You'll just reignite inflation, and you'll be up. Okay, well, what are you going to do? It goes up a couple basis points or a full point, and then now you got inflation at like 3.5%, 4% again, and then it's like, oh, well, we got to cut because we don't want the rate of change to continue to increase over and over again.
Yeah, and like you don't know. You still I'm just assuming what Powell thinks is. He probably still a little bit weary about the tariffs.
Absolutely,
right? Like
absolutely.
There might be some lagging effect there.
We don't want to throw the T word around there either, right?
Well, yeah. Well, exactly, right? Transitory. That was good, man. That guy's not going to live that one down.
No.
Guys, I'm still waiting here for our very good friend WFF to open up. It's currently showing me a theoretical auction price of $21.50 with the halt level being $21.75. So technically we are slated to open up about 75 pennies higher than where we closed. We'll have to wait and see what the situation is here with that one, but it will be at least a 10-minute halt, having halted at 12:37.24. It is now 12:46. And change. So let's keep an eye out on that. And as soon as it's open, we'll let you guys know. But there are other ones running. Case in point, HOVR, really disappointed. Oh, look at this, Joseph. Entry. Stop hunt. I'm the idiot that put my stop there. Why, when I saw technical support right there, would I put my stop there?
Right there.
Moron.
But I mean, that's not too bad, right? Like,
no, it is bad.
You got that. You had that base formed, and you put it in a correct spot, but then it came
too
right
close,
to liquidity.
Too close.
Yeah,
I got hunted right away. So
Larry Hoover.
Really feel very stupid about that, but HOVR, it's up about 29% and continuing to go here. EYEN as well on the move up. It just made a high day of 1150, coming back down now to test that breakout level. I'll submit to you the breakout level to me is around 1080, and that jives with where the 10 exponential moving average is. It's also currently on the 5. It's at around 1075, 1080. WFF is open. Oh, baby. There it is. It moves into the high of day, 2367. The halt level, guys, don't forget, is 2075. Did it already come back in to test it? The answer is yes. The current candle low is 2076 on the dot. We halted at 2075, and it has a low of 2076. So, yeah, again, these halt levels are intraday areas of support and resistance. And here comes 24 with 2387 high. So WFF now 235% really going here. Good look for that one. I see HOVR as well is at the high of the day. Be careful with both of them. They are both small cap gappers, and they're around for a good time, not a long time. I sound like a broken record when I say that, but I'm going to keep saying it because I don't want anybody to think that I think these are good investments, nor do I want anybody to kind of blow up their account. We got a new poll in the chat over here. When a ticker you're watching takes a nosedive, what is your first move? First, buy the dip. 2, Wayne, look for a short opportunity. 3, stay on the sidelines. Or 4, add to my watch list. Joey, options, which one would you choose?
Buy the dip, baby.
Look at this guy. All gas, no brakes. I'm clicking buy the dip too.
Yeah, buy the
Attaboy,
dip.
yeah. Most people agree with you, Joey, because we got about 50% so far. Shout out to David Lindberg.
I'm really rich.
Thank you very much, my friend, for the 65 Swedish kroners. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the great work. Oh, and Arsenal winning the league and Champions League next season. Say less. Ooh. I love David Lindberg, my friend. We're going to take a picture of this right here so I can remember your name and always shout you out. Why are you booing Arsenal?
I don't know.
What is your problem?
I like Chelsea.
Chelsea, huh?
Yeah. I don't
make me do that to you, bro. I was about to ask you who the players were, but I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you.
But Arsenal's jerseys are red, man. What kind of BS is that?
Well, look, bro, you know how much I love blue.
Yeah,
but I also
love you don't like Chelsea.
No, I don't like Chelsea.
Why?
I don't have a problem with Chelsea.
Yeah.
I dislike 2 very specific teams. I hate Manchester United because my buddy in school was a Manchester United fan and we were always competing, and there's a history between Arsenal and Manchester United.
Yeah.
And I also hate Manchester City.
Man City.
Man City. Because they always take the title away from us. This year it was Liverpool, but I can't hate Liverpool because my Mo Salah is on there, right?
Mo Salah.
And my old man is a big Liverpool fan, and a lot of my family is Liverpool fans, so I can't hate it too much.
Okay.
But definitely hate Manchester United. I don't like Manchester, period.
Manchester.
Because they're both from Manchester. Both those teams are from Manchester.
Manchester by the Sea. Shout out to Casey Affleck there.
Shout out, yeah.
this guy. Sharif.
Yes.
Joe, I take a stop loss every time I buy it. Dips. Zion Lala. Yeah, I mean, hey. Is what it is, brother. Keep
Get it,
buying.
Gorev.
Keep buying. What'd Gorev say there?
He's like, you and I both hate Man U and Man City.
All
Yeah,
right, there you go.
I should hate Tottenham as well because so Tottenham and Arsenal both play in North London.
Yeah.
And their stadiums are about 1.5 kilometers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Joseph, and they're not small stadiums. Both
They're
Tottenham's like
massive.
75,000, Arsenal 65,000. These are big ass stadiums that are like throwing distance.
It's
away
funny.
from
I remember back in high school. There was a couple movies like the Hooligans where it'd be like Hooligans where they would just fight each other.
Say it again.
The movie was like Hooligans or something like that.
In the 80s.
Yeah, or something,
Yeah.
and they would fight each other.
Joseph,
and stuff like that.
England had a real big problem with
Problem?
hooliganism in the 80s. They started taking people's passports away because
Yeah.
they'd go to like Germany and France and completely
And just-
make
yeah.
England look like a fool. Yeah,
That's
the whole
crazy.
thing about it.
Are you not allowed to drink in the stadiums anymore?
You can,
huh?
but they cut you off at halftime.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
So you
yeah,
can,
yeah, fair.
but people go to the bar before. And they
Yeah.
sing
Oh, yeah. They're drinking
and
all
they,
day.
oh,
yeah.
God,
They remember that movie Euro Trip? Oh, sorry. You got an ad read to do?
Assassino, are we good to go? VinFast, baby, is back in the spotlight. Cantor Fitzgerald just reaffirmed their overweight rating with a $6 price target, and Chardon Capital is holding their buy rating at a $5.50 price target. On the money side, Tidal Investment increased their stake by 11% with new positions also from Mitsubishi, SBI Securities, and Jump Financial. In Q1, VinFast doubled down on its goal, to boost deliveries this year and hit break-even by 2026. They're scaling it up in Asia and investing in new EV platforms to cut costs and improve performance. With strong backing from Vin Group and global strategy, VinFast is shaping up as one to watch. And I've mentioned this many, many, many times. Seeing a lot more VinFast cars on the road, mostly the VF8s. But
Yeah. Is that the kind of like the van type?
Yeah,
the van.
they're both like kind of like crossover a little bit.
Yeah. I see what you're talking
There's a bigger one and a smaller one. I see more.
We got okay. So Sharif, great trade on WFFF. This looks like 24.15 might be the high of the day. Sellers are getting strong.
We got the top right now, Joey coming in. Oh my God, it just popped up to 24.
Thank you, Redia Foza for that one $10 super chat. Much appreciated. But 2NY had a very interesting comment here for me, anyways. A buddy of mine says that he only buys massive dips on the big dogs like the Mag 7. Other than that, he stays away. And you know what? I think relatively as simplistic as that may be, in my opinion, and you're hearing it first, I can either be right or I could be wrong, but these guys just have so much cash on hand. It's so hard for them to fail at the end of the day. And I'm saying this in the likes of Apple now, when you see a stock that's beat and it looks like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, like it kind of does with Apple, I think it's a great time to buy because $100 billion free cash flow is just absolutely ridiculous. You know, they're just going to buy their way out of their troubles, and I think they have the ability to do that. Even though they are extremely behind in this AI race series, we know it was a massive flop. They lowered the bar on the previous WWDC, which is a positive sign for me. You get that iOS update as well too. Is that going to lead people to the super cycle that our guy Danny Ives thought was going to happen? No, that unfortunately didn't come to fruition. But for me personally, Apple 200, whether it takes 6 months or a year for them to get their things together, eventually they will, and you'll see that stock start to run. Everybody has it written off, but at some point, things will start to clear off. I know Sharif doesn't like the tariff talk going on with Apple as well too, but I do believe that they'll find their way around it, and there will be some positive news and some positive things on AAPL.
Fabian, what are you doing over there? Tell everybody.
Get some submissions in for the poll or for the rundown.
So Fabian,
that's what you'd
it's
like.
super easy for them to vote, right? All they gotta do is hit the $sign
But there and then
and there.
type it in just like this. You can see right here.
Fantastic. It's super simple and it populates automatically, right,
Yeah.
Fabian? So we automatically get the totals.
Oh,
There it is.
There you go.
He's putting around.
Let them come in.
And then someone
Let
said
the
the same
waves.
thing with the likes.
Come on,
of
chat.
Google. Like, I mean, we know with Google that Apple's going to have to divest, and that's about 20% of their service revenue, which is not necessarily good for Google. No. But they'll find their way around it. I think there's so much down the pipeline for this. Waymo, Willow. With the Willow's their quantum space as well too.
Yeah.
And I'm missing so many other things. I can't even remember. Like Google's almost its own ETF in itself, but they'll get out of
Isn't
this.
that funny? It's got exposure to all the industries
many
that we're
different
talking
things.
about. Quantum, they got to put in.
Quantum.
Autonomous driving, AI, obviously goes without. The only thing I really haven't
media
heard.
platforms.
Absolutely, there
Right?
you go, YouTube. The only thing I really haven't heard Google say much about is robotics. Have you?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably see something. And they've already shown that they can handle hardware.
Like exactly, and that's the thing, right? So if Elon's Optimus really just like decides to take off, watch. This is a whole new space that is emerging.
Yeah.
Right, and then what's going to happen? Oh, Elon and Tesla, they got Optimus, and everybody's buying these bots hands over fist. What are the people who have all this unlimited cash going to do?
That's a great
All right,
question.
yeah, let's
I'm
get
going to show
involved
a
in it.
video of this. I was showing it to Brendo the other day. It came on X. So essentially what it is here is you're giving the Optimus one-line codes, okay? So, well, not codes, instructions.
Yeah.
Wash the dishes.
Wash dish.
Pick up. So you're not doing anything complicated. You're giving it one-line instructions, all right? So that, anything that a human would be able to understand. Very simple. And it does it. It does it slow, but it does it well. I'm going to send Assassino the video in a second.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Because I saved it so that we can show it on the show. This was posted by the Tesla Optimus Twitter or X account.
I seen the bot dancing, and I'm like, is it real? Is it real? I didn't know if it was real or not, and I'm like, wow, this is absolutely fantastic. And the fact that we're literally we're not even in the early innings, guys. We're like in the warm up. We're at tryouts, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
We're at tryouts. So I think we're still in the developmental stages of these things, and there's a long road to hoe.
Just give me a second to find it, and then I'm going to send it.
And that's what I think about the Meg, right? Like it's regardless of what happens, and I know this sentiment around Apple and Google aren't the best right now, and even with Amazon, but there's so much going on. We didn't even mention Google Cloud. Like, oh my days, this thing has so much going on for it. It's almost comical, and the fact that the way the stock is trading how it was, and Sharif and I haven't looked at the PE in a long time, but last time we checked, it was like 19 or 20 times forward earnings, which is apparently cheap for the street. So I want to see that video.
People are not buying robots to wash dishes or do laundry
Yet.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. That's not really the point. The point is it's proof of concept, my friend, of things that can be done by a human. So you can have that use case applied to a factory, right? Where you can get those repetitive tasks done by a robot. So you're taking this too literally. You need to expand your mind, look at the broader picture a little bit of some of the applications. I'm going to show this.
B-Bowling says so absurd to think people are going to buy robots. Just
Okay, cool.
That is
So
crazy.
then don't invest, brother.
If you
he's
don't,
entitled to his opinion,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely. But if you don't think that people are going to buy these things to do their laundry, to walk their dog, etc., I don't know. I think you're living in the wrong world, in my opinion.
All right, here, can we, Assassino, are we able to show this? Here we go. So Joseph, just 1 second. So look at this, okay? So you're just giving. So look at, they're gonna show you via natural language. So there's the instruction. This is literally what they wrote, that one-liner. Pick up the trash bag, open the lid, and place the bag in the bin. Nothing more than that, nothing less, nothing more. And there, so you'll see it again. Pick up the brush and dustpan, clean the table. Sure, very rudimentary stuff, guys, and I get all that. Look, he misses one of those, and he keeps going after it.
Bang!
Look at, and then, okay, so tear a paper towel from the roll. A very, very simple instruction. I think this is the future. Obviously, it may not be for this application. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? But you can't tell me that once these things scale up, we're not going to see these in factories doing, let's just be honest about it, man, doing what humans do now. But how many times have humans actually adapted to technology only to maintain higher job growth? It happened literally every single time so far. I mean, and then look at this from the view of directly of humans. I think this is fantastic, Joseph, man. I don't know.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And you got to think about the early stages. And I always use the Blockbuster analogy. It's my favorite one, right? It's like a Blockbuster wasn't willing to adapt to digital movies. And they're like, who's going to watch movies on the internet? Who's going to do this? Where's Blockbuster?
Yeah, sure,
now?
sure. There's going to be skeptics.
Look at, let's you know, and also, what was I going to say there? Anyways, it slipped my mind. I just think that we're just in such the early stages. Think about the internet when it first came out. It wasn't easy. Think about computers when they first came out.
And I remember my old man telling me he thought the internet was a joke, it was a fad and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, just be open-minded, to be honest with you. Like, who knows, if you, b-balling, let me ask you this, if you had a robot, if you could buy a robot for like 10K and it's gonna do all your chores, the laundry, wash the dishes, walk your pet, make your bed, do all this, why would you not want to buy that? I'm buying that.
Do you think it ends up being something like a car where, you know, you basically finance, they start doing the finance aspect of it?
Absolutely.
And then, you know, we get newer models, it's just like we do with the vehicles.
Think about people who have hectic schedules where they can't do all those little things all the time. They're going to have that bought. People are already buying vacuums that just roll around on their own. Why wouldn't they buy an actual humanoid?
Here's just a very obvious practical application. Helping seniors around the home who can't actually do the physical tasks that they once were able to do. Disabled individuals as well. Then they can have
they reach certain things, right?
I mean,
there's such a wide landscape for this stuff.
Because that is being a human being. Joseph, I love to walk my dog. I totally respect that. But, you know, maybe you're tied up with other things and you want to be able to multitask. So I personally think that there will be applications for this. I think people will like it. Not everybody has to like it, just like not everybody likes cars. A lot of people hate cars. It pollutes the environment. It takes up space. They like to take, you know, the bike or whatever. Take the bike lane. Shout out to them.
You know what?
I personally don't have a problem either way with how people feel.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just think this is going to boom.
Let's put it in the chat here. This is how easily things are settled. Would you buy a humanoid robot to do some certain chores for you? Put it in the chat. Yes or no. It's that simplistic. Yes or no, would you buy one of these robots?
Assassino, are we able to
we can even do it a poll. Yeah, you can even do it a poll. And Jeffrey, H6U, let's go surf. I've never been surfing, but I used to I used to snowboard quite a bit before my knee injuries. So yeah, I was heavily into park and everything like that. But yeah.
I will be version 2.0. Get it, Neil. Oh, Neil's going to buy
version 2.0. Put it in the chat. We're going to get that poll up. I'm curious to what everybody thinks. Are you going to buy one of these? 100%. Like, look at everybody, 1,000%. So we're going to get that vote up, even if it's like 10, 20K. Let's see what everybody thinks on that one.
Here's my question to you, though. Do you think we get application with the hyperscalers first because of the cost? So, for example, the Amazons, these other guys, they start employing them in the warehouses, in the factory. We get proof of concept. We improve it in a commercial business setting, and then, or do you think it's a two-pronged approach where we get like, you know, the commercial versions or the business versions, and then we get the retail or the home versions as well? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it comes in both ways.
Both ways.
Yeah. I totally. At some point, you'll probably be able to buy one of these things in probably 20 years at Walmart, or you go to Best Buy or something like that, and be like, I want the B2 3000 that does everything like that. You know what I mean? Or the Optimus 1600 or something like that. So. Yeah,
all right.
It's only a matter of time.
We're not getting anywhere b-balling. My man, I wish you all the best. I bet you were the guy that said, you know, people didn't want a cell phone, or, you know, people didn't want computers or whatever, bro.
That's fine, man.
Have at it. So there's the poll. The poll is now live, guys. Tell us honestly what you think. Would you actually buy a robot? Cost not being an issue here, because we're not gonna, you know, get too nuanced with it. If cost was not an issue, let's just put it that way, would you be a buyer of these kind of?
It's not even close. Look at the submissions already. It's not even close.
And we've got 73-28 so far. I think that there is a market for this. That's just my personal opinion. Let's see how this poll ends up doing. Let's see what everybody here in the studio thinks. Ram, yes or no? Are you buying a robot? Adara, I know we're going to go to you in a second, but if you want to weasel in just for 1 sec to give us your opinion, are you a buyer of robots? Be honest, Adara.
Truthfully, it's something I want to think about a little bit more. I don't have a strong opinion on it, if I'm being incredibly honest. If I have a robot who could shake me awake in the morning, that would actually be the most useful robot for me. Because when you can't hear and you can't stay awake, how do you wake up in the morning? A question I struggle with every day. So if the robot could just be like, get out of bed. Honestly, I was thinking, as you guys are talking, what's the most useful robot for me? That is the most useful robot for me. So I would get that robot, but other than that, I haven't thought much about it.
Boom. Assassino, are you a buyer of a robot? Cost not being an issue. Be honest, man. Assassino is... Yes. Hold on, woman. Stop trying to influence everybody. Let's hear everybody answer. Assassino, put the camera on so people can see you. So if the Chile Nightmare and Assassino are on the ones and twos right now. So Assassino, give us a thumbs up or thumbs down if you're a buyer of a robot. And just be honest, man. Up?
Hey, there you go.
Fabian, up. What are we doing?
Fabian's buying a robot.
Buying a robot? Robot go or no go?
What else will it do besides like chores?
Anything that a human can do, Fabian. Think about it. Like probably even more.
Probably even more.
This guy. All right. Can we check with the OP is the one, Kanob. Oh, give the camera a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you. Okay, he's gonna chime in. Even better. Get in, Ob.
Robots?
Yep. A Tesla
Absolutely
style.
Yes.
Absolutely yes.
Absolutely yes. It can literally do all the things. And if I'm just like, you know, think about all the time that you're going to save on mundane tasks, right?
Goodness gracious, yes.
For example, like, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm trying to work on something. And maybe I'm on my computer, I'm focused on whatever. And I want a snack, I want whatever, but I don't want to like lose focus.
Yeah.
I can just be like, yo, Wally.
Yeah.
Can you go grab me?
Wally,
can you go grab me a drink from the
Happy.
fridge? Can you go grab me a snack? You know what I mean? Can you make me? Can you make me a sandwich?
I don't have any problem.
And then let me add. We're gonna go to.
I can stay focused on that work, and it'll be fine.
Dang.
I think that's what it is.
And let me even add
So
more.
hard over there.
Let me add more to this. You can hook your Apple Pay up to the robot and be like, go over to Farm Boy for me and grab me some food.
Farm Boy, why is it always
I have
Farm
guests
Boy?
coming
Or
over
Booster
later tonight.
Juice.
I need to cook this meal. I forgot XYZ. Can you go grab something?
How about shoveling the snow? You know where we live, right? You know where we live, right?
Shovel the
Neil,
snow. Now
Neil,
Neil's
come with the hot fire.
First of all, I'm cool with the robots, but Joe, man, at the point at which we got robots doing our chores, you don't need to send the robot to go to the store.
Why?
Because everything's gonna have delivery. Like it's just
That's a good point.
You're not gonna need your individual.
No, I want my robot to work.
Not at any major store, bro.
I want it to
I'm
work.
just-
Put it to work.
Let's have it do some work that it don't need to do. Like that's. I mean, come on, man.
There you
Come
go.
on
There you go.
Robot.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that. But I'm just simply saying two things. One, version 2.0, I will let other people have it be the first in the house, just so I'm safe. And 2, there was no need to make it look like iRobot. That's my why.
That's the thing, Neil. Why does it have to look like iRobot?
Why does it have to look like the
I
ones that try to
100%
take
agree
over
with
the
you.
world? It's not necessary. It looks like Mitchell's versus the Machines too. Why does every single robot that like tries to take over the world, they all look the same because Mitchell's versus the Machines stole it, and then all of a sudden Optimus has to look the same as iRobot. Which, by the way, as a true nerd, the movie iRobot has nothing to do with the fantastic collection of short novels or short stories by Isaac Asimov.
Asimov.
If you actually read the short stories for the iRobot, it is brilliant, and it is about 1 billion times better than the movie is. A small portion of it is based on the movie, or the movie is based on a small portion of that set of stories.
Neil, before you go,
which I'm going to probably reread while I'm on vacation.
Neil, before you go,
Cool.
Is there a situation where we get that AGI and then the robot becomes self-aware like it does in iRobot? Do you foresee any issues?
I'm not that smart. But
Well, you're an Asimov reader,
it can't be a zero probability. No. What I will say is this: well, the coolest thing about Asimov is that iRobot book. The entire book is ways in which robots, which are trained to not do certain things or to be able to do certain things, the way in which they go wrong, despite what people think is perfect programming, and then the dudes have these two dudes that are problem solvers have to figure out what has gone wrong and how to fix it. It's super cool if you haven't read iRobot, but that's the whole point. I don't care how smart you are. Something can and will eventually go wrong and be unexpected, but I don't know what form that would take.
Yeah, well,
I'll still have one in my house at version 2.0. By the way, WEF is halted. And I think it's the other way. Is it halted down? I think it's halted down right now. WFF. It's like it's indicating a 22 open, and it halted at 24. So good luck in that, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Neil. All right, we're going to Adair.
Is that another little interesting point that I kind of thought of this, and I want to pull up a chart. We'll bring it back to the markets here. This is AT&T, or this is T. So one anecdote I remember from the 1980s, AT&T actually hired a consulting firm called McKinsey, and they asked this consulting firm, will you look up, like, should we enter the cell phone market? Is this a good idea? And McKinsey told them the cell phone market's not going to be very good. Don't enter the cell phone market. As a result, AT&T did not enter the cell phone market. And I mean, they definitely missed out on a good opportunity. So just interesting to kind of see how early on in the development and the adoption of things, we can really miss their utility. In this case, AT&T missed out on a massive opportunity to get into the cell phone game. I also realized another thing I'd like a robot for, though I guess is also be robotaxis, driving, because I can't drive for medical reasons. So I'm like, if we can get a robot to drive for me, that'd be cool. That being said, I do speed walk everywhere anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. But I think we're going to have AVs, Adara, so I think you're good to go on that part, right? But that is a form of robotics. Adara, chime in. Your friend Jensen the other day, was yesterday, in fact, and I reported on this, he was basically talking about the intersection of AI and robotics being AVs. So that is going to be the first type of robotics, and I think you're going to benefit the most out of that.
I am very excited about that.
Well, but that's what Danny Ives said as well, too, about Tesla. Tesla is probably one of the purest AI plays right now because of autonomy.
100% agree.
That is one of the massive first steps here in AI and autonomy. So there you go.
And let's be honest about it, too. Your boy Elon has not just done that, but he strung together initially 100,000 of these NVIDIA H100s when nobody thought you could string more than 30,000 of them together. And now I'm hearing we're going to string 500 and 1 million of them together, which was limited by the networking capabilities. Apparently, he found some way to deviate around that so that the network, okay, so here's what happens. GPU A and all, let's just say 1 to 100,000, they all have to be on the same wavelength at all times. If there's even a fraction of a difference in where each one is at the time, it doesn't work. Having them all to be kind of on the same wavelength, cohesive, was super hard as a technical challenge, and he got around that somehow. And remember, I told you Jensen had to fly out.
Had to fly out.
He couldn't believe it.
Yep.
What do you got, Adira?
Long True Social post from Donald Trump is what I have, Sharif, and it is about the tensions in the Middle East. He's saying that apparently the Ayatollah of Iran said that they won the war, but Donald Trump said that is false. He said that the, quote, 3 evil nuclear sites in Iran were obliterated, and then he's also now basically saying that they were considering removing some of the sanctions on Iran, but now he's not going to do to get rid of that. He's going to keep the sanctions on. It's a very, very long post, but it does end with this interesting note, and I quote, "I wish the leadership of Iran would realize that you often get more with all caps honey than you do with all caps vinegar, all caps peace, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point." So more Middle Eastern tensions here being addressed by Donald Trump on Truth. Back to you.
For that, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close in that voting poll. It's 75, 25%. So yeah, by all means, continue to do all the laundry and everything if you don't want to have fun with your robots and stuff like that. But yeah, back to these markets, guys. NVDA, a nice signal on the volume weighted average price, and you're seeing it got a little bounce there. So a nice play on this one, nice hammer candle. You play the break of that high, or you just catch it before it had any ability to kind of break that low there. And this kind of looks like a head and shoulder pattern on the 5-minute shoulder one. Head and then possibly shoulder two here. So watch out for a neckline snap. I don't know if that's going to happen today. I mean, there is still about 2.5 hours left, a little bit more than that in the trading session. So keep an eye on that one there. But NVDA holding up its strength and dragging the Qs up with it along here too, Sharif. So we're good luck in some of these big names.
On the blockchain, fantastic comment by you. I'm going to read this out loud. I hope that it doesn't bother you. My son is 7 years old and autistic. Do you know how great it would be for him to have an optimist that keeps an eye out for him when I cannot be with him? Oh, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And shout out to you. Thank you for that comment on the blockchain. Just one of the many, I think, uses that we can find that would help on a day-to-day basis. I mentioned initially the seniors aspect. Like my old man, right? He's almost 80 years old now. And, you know, it's not the best feeling in the world to watch your old man age, who you have always seen as being robust all his life. And now, you know, the most menial of tasks, the most basics of tasks are actually tough for him. You know what I mean? Because, you know, loss of muscle mass, he's almost 80 years old. And so I think that, you know, something like that would really go a long way to help seniors, to help the disabled and those who can't help themselves. I think it's fantastic. In addition, obviously, to the umpteen amount of different uses you can have for like pleasure and for fun and stuff like that, and just for, you know, menial tasks around the house. So that's my kind of view on that. All right, I think we've kind of exhausted that topic a little bit. Maybe we can go on to the next thing.
There, yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk a little bit about WFF, because we had a couple of halt downs here. Neil called the initial one, and we're still heading down. We're losing the 10. We're not losing the 20 quite yet. The 20 exponential on the 5 is around 19 1/3. It is dropping down into $20 though. So the first initial area, we've already seen $20 get defended once and twice over here. That's a 5-minute chart. I'm not going to catch a falling knife. You want to pick this up on an uptrend as opposed to a downtrend when you're getting it like this. Usually you are standing in front of a freight train if you want to pick these up on the downtrend. So let's see what it does with 20. If it finds support at 20 and starts putting in higher highs and higher lows, I'm a buyer. We'll get in, but it's got to prove to me that it's going to do that first before we punch back in. So I'm keeping my eye, as I have been all day, on WFF. It's up a nice 212% on the day. Tomati 33, what is my age? I'm 43 years old. I just turned 43 about a month and 2 days ago. Born in 1982, baby. Sippo Sunshine, Sharif, especially with the cost of elder care rising. Fantastic comment by you. Man. And we cannot trust the people who take care of the elderly. We've seen this before. They mistreat them. People set up video cameras to catch these, you know, some of these people who mistreat their loved ones. I'm not saying everybody's like that, so please don't get me wrong, but that has happened. I've seen videos. Having something to help with those mental tasks can postpone human intervention and take the burden off the kids. You're absolutely right, Sippo Sunshine. Just one of the many different applications. Shout out to Pitchbull as well. Shout out to Mike Simmons. No, I'm not a lot younger. Quite old I am, but, you know, can't really do anything about that anymore. It only goes one way, right?
Yeah.
So. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm in IBIT here, and just a final comment on this stuff, b-balling. We're not trying to like go against anything. We respect your opinion, but this is what we do. We have conversations about things, and then see what everybody's opinion is on that. So you don't like it, that's fine, and we'll just carry on. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with respectfully disagreeing either. So there we go. Let's see if we can hold this resistance level, the support level in IBIT. Why am I long here? You can see that we have this pre and post market base right right now, and then I'm just looking for that to hold up. Maybe we get a little bit of a bounce and then we head back towards that high, or it rejects and punches through that support level, and then we just get out of the trade and then see how the underlying reacts around the volume weighted average price. All right. Yeah. Wow. What a nice signal on NVDA. I should have pulled the trigger on this one, as it's a strong name right there. A nice indecision print right at VWAP, and then now you go from 157.42 all the way up to the 88s there. So yeah. Good look there on some of these names. Nice bounce that we're experiencing here in the market. Let's see what we can pull out on the rest of the day. I think there's going to be still plenty of opportunities. Excuse me, and it's not what we were experiencing last week, right? There is some open interest on specific names, but nothing drastic or nothing that can't be absorbed in the coming weeks or even by next week. So yeah, let's see if we can get this bounce. I think this is going to be the primary target, around 61.10 there on this name. Start really small. If thesis starts working out, then we will have the ability to add more shares. So yeah, keep an eye out on that. If there's anything specific that you guys want to go over, I want to pull up the chain just so we can look at NVDA, Microsoft, and Google to see what kind of moves we might be expecting and what strike prices to keep an eye out for come next week. All right, so that's going to be 60, right? You can see 160. What was the high of the day on NVDA? That was around 158.79. We'll call it 159 flat, but just keep an eye out for this concentration and where it lies next week. And then let's take a look at Microsoft, considering it rejected that one level 500 pretty aggressively. So there's only 8,000 contracts, but if we're going to call it relatively compared to all the other open interests, it's larger. So keep an eye out on 500 on Microsoft next week. Is it going to be lifted to 502, 510, or is it going to stay relatively where it is? And that can give us a range gauge for next week. And then we'll take a look at Google to see if that 165 is lifted, because that was a big level there. So 165 now lifted up to 75s. Let's see what happens come this expiration cycle. Does 175 go to 77.5, or does it go to 180 there, Sharif?
The blood on WFF continuing to pour there as we lose the $20 area and now lost the $19 area, at least for the moment. We're holding above it now. I did see us dip into 18 and change, but there does look like there is a buyer at 19. But my suggestion to you guys, I mean, who knows how this ends up turning, but when you try to buy when there is an aggressive downtrend like this on a small cap gapper, it doesn't typically end well. I did that yesterday when CYN had their offering midday. I tried to go long like an idiot, and I ended up going right on the day when I was decidedly green. So I won't be making that mistake today on WFF. I'm not going to punch in while we are getting this very, very aggressive downtrend. Here, what I'm keeping my eye on, though, is that $15 level, and that's not a random level. That is where the volume weighted average price is hanging out. We are now below the 10. We're now below the 20, and we're about to lose $18. So the short is on right now. If Obi was trading these small cap gappers, he'd be short at $28. This is the mean reversion trade of the century on small cap gappers. No, I'm exaggerating for effect, obviously, but this is a big, big down move right now, topping tail candle into the high of day of 29.26, and we're almost $10 below that, just a little bit shy of that at the moment. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now. But I want to mention something that's moving to the high side. It goes by the ticker SVRE, and this is another triple-digit winner right now, or was a second ago, up 98% and change. It just reclaimed the volume-weighted average price. Alas, it is still below that 1020 high that we got at 569, and it's still technically a lower high. I want to see a decisive break of that 4 3/4, only because the topping tail candle there rejected at that level. So I don't want to be dealing with that level. And also, I want to see a decided trend change. And if this was lower low, lower low, lower low, sure, we got a high above that low right there, but I want to see clear 475 with the idea that this could at least test, if not break, the high of the day. So SVRE. On the rampage right now, it had become essentially dormant the entire midday show. It rejected VWAP right when we started the show, but it is moving up now, and it's got an increasing volume profile. Look at the bottom right there. Certainly not the highest or the biggest volume bars on the day, without question, but we're getting about 1 million shares here, give or take, per 5-minute candle. So SVRE could be a good one here going, and there is that 475 break and take. So we're above that level right now. It behooves me to load this up on trading screen so we can weasel into this one if it is appropriate. SVRE on the NQ, and there it is. So zigging and zagging with that 4 3/4, and you can see that the volume is coming in fresh to this one because look how the tape and the book is moving. Alas, it is rejecting that 4 3/4 down into the volume weighted average price it goes. Joseph, does it hold VWAP though? I'm going to give this one a try. Where is the volume weight at 4 3/4? Okay, here we go. 4 1/4, excuse me. That's where the volume weighted average price is. We're at 4 1/3. I can give this to, what is that area? Yeah, so this is not bad over here. We're going to try to punch. We're going to try to punch and we'll set up some orders. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm still sitting in this IBIT, but I do like the TQs right at VWAP here. So I'm going to take some size here right at the volume weighted average price and then just use 82 as my stop. You start small and then look to build it if the trade starts to work, right? But I really like it here at VWAP as it looks like it wants to break down. We couldn't construct a new high. If we get stopped at an IBIT, then so be it. We're in the TQ short now. Let's pull this up here. Do on what we got going on. See, it is a little bit of a wider stop, which isn't the best, but you can see double top here. Couldn't construct a new high of the day. So yeah, I like this. I like the short potentially here right at the volume weighted average price. And usually the second time around is when you get the break of the key support level, and then you can see that we're slowly starting to sell off here. So keep that in mind. NVDA coming in towards the volume weighted average price. I am now short the Qs. So what am I doing? I'm monitoring what's going on with the bigger names. You can see Amazon slowly turtle shell curl over. Now you got NVDA at the volume weighted average price. Google looking like it wants to go and test the low of the day as well too. And then Microsoft breaking through support. So there it is. We're short the TQs. I'm not even looking at what Apple is doing.
It's moving up.
Yeah, it's moving. Yeah, it's coming back into to VWAP here now. Yeah, so that's that one there. Let's see if we're gonna have to hold on to this. I've mentioned that the risk profile is relatively wide, right? So that's not the best for me. It's 25 cents, a little bit more than what I need to give it in order for me to prove myself that I am wrong. But one thing that will give me more conviction within the setup is that if we start to pull back here and then we have the inability to construct a new high past this key pivot level, then you can add into that position, average down even, and then look for that break of the volume weighted average price because you have test number one, you couldn't crack it here, test number two, failed new high, and then you'd look to take that move to the downside. So I think come 2 o'clock, there's going to be a lot of movement here. And if we get stopped out of IBIT, so be it. Then we have no issues with that because I do like this Q's trade slightly more. But now with that being said, guys, we haven't done this today. Let's take a look at the top performing sectors here on the session to see what we're looking like across the broader market. All right, once again, I think this is the second time this week, only one sector in the red. Who's leading the way today, Sharif? The discretionaries. All right, consumer discretionary up about 1 1/4. Then we got the industrials closer to 1 1/3. We'll call it there. Industrials up about 1 1/5, and then real estate up 0.9%. And then the healthcare sector positive again, 1/3%, and then the materials a 1/5, and then energy sector down 0.4. So the only red one, risk on, it seems to be the narrative of the session.
All right, we're in SVRE, Joseph. We're in at 4 1/4. I've wet the beak all the way up to 460. We're holding a piece here I've set up at 482. That is to kind of front run the high there of that topping tail candle that you see. And the high of that candle there is 485. I've moved up my stop to just a couple of shekels below break even. So we're at 4 1/4. I've given it to basically the break of 4 1/5. So if it loses $4.20, I'll get stopped out. What I'm hoping is we don't put in a new candle to make a new low. So the previous candle, the one that is kind of a doji equidistant upper and lower wicks, has a low there of 416. So, I'm putting my order at 419. If it makes a lower low, it could technically still be a higher low because 19 is obviously above 16. But I don't want to give back too much being in at the $0.25. It's coming back in here to 431. So it does have a lower high right now on the current 5-minute candle, but it does obviously have a higher low. Let's see what this one does. I'm giving it an opportunity to possibly take the high of the day, or that local area high, excuse me. So I've set up at 482. I've got one beak wetter left. on this one. So we'll see what SVRE wants to do right now. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Dylan, I see you, my man. You're talking about NAOV. I can't trade that at the moment because I've got to fixate here on SVRE. But the second I'm done with this trade, I promise you I will look at NAOV. I'm seeing it on my scanner. It's up about 30.5%, give or take, but it's done really light amount of volume, Dylan. So I'm not sure I'd be jumping into that quite yet. Still keeping my eye here on SVRE as it's still above the volume weighted average price. I still haven't gotten stopped out here on SVRE. One beak water left on this one, so we'll see if it ends up stopping me or going to the high side. Juan Padilla wants to know if there's any SMCI news. Not that I can see. I'm looking quickly here on the side chart or on my blotter. Adair is looking as well. I don't see anything new that's coming, so I did get stopped out of there of the last remaining amount on SVRE as it did lose VWAP. So this is a lower high and a lower low on the 5-minute candle now. So that's it. If it's below VWAP, I don't trade it. We'll stay positive on this one, but we give back. Well, we don't give back. Actually, it was like a 6-penny loss there on the last little amount. So it is technically a give back, but not the worst in the business. So keep an eye on this one. If it wants to get above that 490 area, above this area here, we'll get involved. Otherwise, I'm going to steer clear of this one. Also, EYEN continues to be a really, really good trade, guys. It's not putting too much in the way of volume right now, but look at this. It's just very respectful. The 10 exponential all the way through, and then when it lost the 10, it found support at VWAP. So you got to admire a trade like this. I traded it okay. I could have done a lot better on it. I mean, I don't know why sometimes the easy trades are the ones that I don't go for, and I go for the tough ones, but that's my problem, not yours. EYEN, keep your eye out on this one. It's fantastic. It's moving up, higher highs, higher lows. Just printed the new high of the day above 12 bucks, 12.11 HOD. Still defending that 10 EMA on the 5. WFF is halted again to the downside. We're halted at 16.25 with a high day of 29.26. What I'm keeping my eye on, Joe, is that $15 level. Not for no reason. It is where the volume weighted average price is currently on my chart. And for the most part here, VWAP has been respected by WFF. It doesn't mean it's going to respect it forever and ever more, but it is something that we need to keep our eye out given what it's already done on the day. So WFF in focus for me. HOVR as well, not a bad looking trade. Volume profile is absolute crap. So the chart pattern good, volume not good. That makes this, that relegates this one down on my list of ones that I'm really looking to trade. Sorry for the ineloquence of that last statement there. NAOV, Joseph, I'm just going to cover this one for your boy Dylan there in the chat. Look, I don't like this one, Dylan, and I made my opinion clear as to why. It's just not good volume. So this is the chart. There's a lot wrong with this, brother. I don't mean to call you out. I don't mean to be mean, but we're below the high of the day, so there could be bag holders up to $1.32. Second of all, we're below the volume weighted average price. To me, that means the sellers are in control as opposed to the buyers. Let me re-include pre-market and aftermarket data here that we removed previously so I can take a gander about how this was trading in the pre-market. And it breaches another one of my rules, Dylan, which is it's below the pre-market high. Look at that 4 a.m. print. Doesn't matter if it was 4 a.m. or not. It had a good amount of volume on it. That 4 a.m. print there had 930,000 shares within one 5-minute candle right at 4 a.m. And it got to about $1.47, very similar to that aftermarket high that we had around 4:30 yesterday at around $1.45. So this one, even though it's up 30% on the day, not bad, given that it closed yesterday at around 87 pennies at 4 o'clock. It's not one that I want to trade. Thank you for suggesting that, though, but doesn't fit my rules, Joseph.
All right, yeah, good luck, guys. So I hopped out of that IBIT trade as it broke through that neckline there. So it did look like a kind of a head and shoulder type pattern. So you just hop out when you're supposed to. So that's what we did. We got out of that trade. And then, yeah, Los Polios, we'll see what happens there. If it curls over and we don't break through this and then we start to curl back towards the volume weighted average price, then I'll look to add on that one. But again, you gotta monitor what the Mag 7 are doing in order for, or even the broader tech space as well too. Like what's going on with them? Are they bouncing? Are they continuing to move lower, or what's going on? So yeah, that's the game plan on this one. If we fail to construct that high right here past this pivot, then we'll just add to the position, and then hopefully we get that slow curl over and then through the volume weighted average price. So you can see there's a key support level from the pre-market, and then now throughout the intraday session that needs to be cracked. So you want to see some weakness, and we know the tech sector is relatively strong right now. So you might not get that extension within the short. This was the primary short right there, right at the high, right at the previous high of the day, and it rejects it, and then sure enough, you get that move right back towards the volume weighted average price. I bid, haha. Yeah, it sucks to suck, doesn't it? There we go. It's starting to come in. You've seen that move right here, and then it just couldn't be sustained, and now we're heading right back into the middle of this zone. I mentioned it time and time again, guys. It's going to take some time. Someone made a very interesting point. It's just the market makers just churning, absorbing a lot of leveraged individuals, and then eventually, once they've absorbed enough, then they'll start to just distribute higher. So distribute. So that's that game plan. Let's see, let's pull it up here. There it is. So yeah, I do believe that at 1.108, see, that's the thing. Like, is it going to break this 108? You got to be patient to see what's going on, or is it going to reject and come back in towards these lows? So that's what I feared, right? You can see that when did we peak? We peaked May 20th. May 22nd. So we've already been trading in a 10K range for a month now. And that's the one thing that's been frustrating me. And you want to stay objective, obviously, but like, look at the length of this. March to November does essentially nothing. Trades in that 10K range. You get about a couple weeks of a move, goes back, trades within a 10K range again for a couple of months, decides to sell off a little bit. Oh, okay, no, we want to recover here. And then now we're back into a consolidation phase for about a month. Like, what is going on, right? Like, and I mentioned before, if everyone's buying this hand over fist, why isn't there a steady appreciation instead of us continuously going in these month-long, multi-month-long consolidations? So, yeah, just keep an eye out on that. And that's why I had no issue hopping out of my contracts and my swing shares, because there's going to be another opportunity. If it's going to move sideways for the better part of a month or even longer, but one thing to follow is that you get a 50% move, so who knows what that can lead to, right? So you consolidate. Because the moves are slightly longer, it takes longer durations for it to break out. But if you get a 50% move following that, then so what? Sit through the consolidation and then just expect something around 30, 20, 30, 40, 50%. You're essentially laughing. And that's the game plan on this one. You play the crack of this downtrend line, you sit on the backside of that, and then you look for that move for about a quarter or so. You're at 110, you want to go to 1 or a quarter, or 1 and 130 or something along those lines. So yeah, that's the game plan on that. Is there an add opportunity here on the Qs? I think so. I'm going to add a little bit right now as I'm talking about it, as we head towards this key support level, and maybe the volume will start to pick up and the momentum as well too. So we'll add just a little bit of size there, Los Polios. Nothing crazy, just because we're just using unrealized. We couldn't make a new high. We couldn't break that previous pivot level, and then now we're looking like we want to head to the downside, being led by the likes of Apple, the garbage one, and Amazon.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The garbage one. No. All right. Just quickly going to check out my position. I'm back in SVRE. We're in at the $0.25. It seems to be holding up the 10. On the 10, on the 5. I've wet the beak twice. Let's go ahead and set up at 69er. You guys know how this works. Where have we moved up to 40s? Okay, so where's the high of this current candle? Allow me a minute. Sorry, Assassino, 443 current candle high. So there is a seller here at 43s. The next beak wetter for me is around 45 and then 69. So keeping my eye out here. Anything below $4, I get stopped out. So let this one cook, and then we'll do the news in a second. Assassino, are we ready? New traders, listen up. Ozan, where are you at? First month, it's free. That's right, we're waiving the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience so you can analyze, strategize, and hopefully after that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything, guys. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You can also predict better with their great backtesting tool. It's got reliable real-time data, global markets literally at the tips of your fingers. It's an all-in-one platform, so do not miss out. Execute your best trades now, if and ready. if and only if you're ready, to elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks there. Adi Signal. We got the 45 print, Joseph. We're zagging right now back in SVRE. There goes that $0.5. There is a seller of note here at the $0.5 that we can't seem to shake, but the higher lows here could be what's operative. So it might be just a matter of time until that $0.5 seller gets, well, taken out. We'll have to wait and see. I'm waiting at 69, and then we've got another beak wetter as well. So if that 69er does trigger, Joseph, we're going to save a piece for the dream here with that high of the day. Can you guess what the high of the day is? On SVRE.
Well, it price-wise, I haven't looked.
Well, it's not, if I'm asking you to guess, usually it's a little on the nose.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a little on the nose there.
569.
569.
Hey, right?
There you go.
So we'll see if we can get something around. So I'm looking at wetting the beak at 469, then we'll see 569. Okay, 54s just came in there momentarily on SVRE. I'm thinking maybe I should just do the news and let this one cook. The stops in play and the profit takers are in play. So Assassino, if you want. There we go. Let's talk a little Nike here, Ram. They reported earnings yesterday after the bell, and it was, look, it was not good year-over-year comparison, but it was ahead of what analysts were expecting. And as Neil always says, there are no good or bad earnings. There's always better or worse than expectations. So let's talk exactly about that. EPS, guys, earnings per share, their measure of profitability, came in at 14 cents a share. The street was expecting 13, so a beat on the bottom line. The revenue, the top line, 11.1 billion. The street was looking for 10 3/4, a little bit less actually. So a beat on the top and bottom line there. But significant year-over-year declines. Net income, guys, plunged an eye-watering 86%. They printed about $1.5 billion last year in profit, okay, on the quarter. They made $211 million. Good, they're still profitable, but they're Nike, right? We need to hold them to a high standard. So that is a prohibitive drop in profitability. It was driven by markdowns, inventory clearances, as well as digital weakness. Sales dropped, so that $11.1 billion in revenue. That was a 12% drop year over year as compared to the previous quarter on the year, not the previous quarter, excuse me. So that was, it was tough to look at, but they're improving. Now, management does expect sales to decline going forward, actually, believe it or not, into the mid-single digits. That's for Q1 2026. That's in line with the 7% drop that analysts were forecasting. Gross margins also expected to fall to between 3.5% to 4.25%, with a 1% impact apparently coming from the China tariffs. Speaking of those China tariffs, Joseph, they are expected to take about $1 billion in costs. That's an ugly one right there for full year 2026. Get it, Adara, which Nike aims to offset vis-a-vis price increases and supply chain shifts, as well as what they're calling cost efficiencies. Let's talk about how they did geographically here, Joseph. North American sales fell down a prohibitive 11% year over year to about 4.7 billion, but it did beat the street's expectations. So even though it was a decline year over year on the quarter, the street was looking for 4.42. They ended up printing, Joseph, 4.7. China revenue, believe it or not, just came in slightly under 1.48 billion. The street there was looking for 1.5, so it was a miss there. Now, they have different sources of revenue, obviously, different ways that they channel revenue in. One of those sources is what they call DTC, direct to consumer. So that fell 14%. It was driven by a 26% drop in digital sales and a 9% drop in wholesale. But the Nike stores were the silver lining here. Excuse me for a moment while I just look at my position. So yeah, it got into 468. It didn't cross into 469. So this candle still has a higher low, so I'm going to continue to pack my patience here. But we are having trouble breaking above the $0.5 here on SVRE. So I'm aware of that. I'm going to pack my patience on this one. Nike stores were a rare bright spot in the report, Joseph, up 2%, and foot traffic shows signs of improving. CEO Elliott Hill, the new CEO, emphasized that a pivot back to sport focus and wholesale growth after reversing his predecessor's direct-to-consumer approach. So what ended up happening, and what I was saying at the big desk today with Brendo was, you know, they had so much exposure being in the Dick's Sporting Goods, the Foot Lockers, Champ Sports over here on this side of the border, Sports Check. So people got to see their product line and could, you know, interact with it. You know, they like the design, you know, they see it there. And that dropped off when they really focused on their direct-to-consumer push. They're looking to return back to that, apparently under the guise of the new CEO. So Nike is returning as well to Amazon with a select assortment and launching partnership, Joseph, with Aritzia and Urban Outfitters. Any thoughts?
Yeah. The stock is up 16, 18% throughout the session because the expectations came in better than what the analysts were expecting. Absolutely. But if you go across the board and look everything down 14%, 11%, et cetera,
right.
I still think this stock is essentially on the decline from what these numbers are telling us, from a popularity standpoint as well too. Otherwise, you wouldn't see the numbers that are displayed. So I think because it's such a competitive landscape, I still think there's some potential big downside towards Nike.
That's fair. All right. So that's Joseph's opinion, and that's a fair opinion. I think, and the actual, I think the price action supports what you have to say there.
Absolutely.
So let's keep going on over here. We're going to actually pause for 1 second. We're going to Adara at the big desk.
Here, keep an eye on. Oh, what? Okay, I should keep an eye on Visa and MasterCard. Hopefully, everyone can hear me here. Because they just had to come back from the UK competition appeal tribunal, and they ruled that Visa.
Adara, they're having issues with your mic, so they'll figure that out, and then we'll come back to you, Adara. Thank you for that long.
No, sorry.
All right, guys, let's focus here on the trade deal, apparently, that's finally being ironed out between China and the United States. Specifically, what we're talking about is the rare earth elements or minerals or whatever you want to call them. So China's Ministry of Commerce confirmed a new trade framework is being implemented now with the U.S. focused on rare earth exports and the easing of tech restrictions. Are we going to Adara? Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let's take a look here at Visa and MasterCard. We have the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal ruling that Visa and MasterCard's default merchant interchange fees are violating European competition laws. I also want to mention CRCL. This thing is pushed into new day's lows. We are now trading around $185 on the bid. We're actually below 185. So CRCL continuing to be weak here as we wind into, I guess, the last couple hours of this trading session. Exciting stuff here. Keep an eye on this name. Back to you.
The chips have a tailwind, Neil. That's the thing.
You see what Adara just said? I know we got this news going. I want to touch a little bit on this here. All right. So we've seen in the likes of, you had Visa up there, Adara, I believe it was. Okay. So with some of these payment processors, and I just want to talk about stable coins and some numbers here as well. So I'll pull this up here because I think this is very interesting. We've seen in the likes of Robinhood, Coin, and Circle this massive move, and then we've seen that exactly we're on the shorts right now. A big time volatility spike. Something must be happening. We're going to get back to this here momentarily, but there we go. We add to the short. You break through that support. The volume steps in as you break through key levels, and there it is. Something must have happened because it's across the board. Amazon volatility spike. Apple, Microsoft, iBit's continuing to sell, haha, and then there you go, Google. Yeah, there it is, man. Yeah, bro, dude, I'm ruthless when it comes to this stuff. You suck. You're not in my swing account anymore.
iBit?
Yeah.
Okay, bro, but it's in the long term. What's your problem?
It's 80%. It's in the 80% in the long term, but in the near term, you suck. See you later. All right, that's all that matters. But anyways, guys, you can see that the volume and the momentum really started to pick up here. Where I don't want to piece anything off just yet, especially if this is going to be sustained. Adara's going to bring us some news if there is any, but we want to hold on to this for this move and for as long as we possibly can. Let's see if we can continue through some of these key support levels and head towards the low of the day on the triple Qs there, Sharif.
All right, guys, let's talk. All right, we're going to Adara.
Sometimes Okay, sorry. Sometimes when I see a drop and I'm like unsure it's what the news is, I check Truth Social to see if Trump posted something, and he did. That's what happened here. He just shared a post. It's about trade in Canada. I'm going to read the whole thing. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to all caps trade with, including the fact they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs on dairy, has just announced they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the EU, which has done the same thing. It's currently under discussion with us also. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all trade discussions with Canada. So U.S. terminating all trade discussions with Canada effective immediately. They are going to let Canada know that the tariff they will be paying to do business with the U.S. within the next 7 days period. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So basically, long story short, they are, I guess, U.S. and Canada no longer in trade talks. And I guess within 7 days, the U.S. will let Canada know the tariff they're going to have to deal with. Does not seem like a great situation here as we send it back to you.
This earlier in the week, or it might have been last week as well too. So I think the digital tax is it's like 2.5% or something along those lines. I think that's fair enough. It's nothing what Europe is doing to the likes of Meta, etc. So I mean 2.5%. Whoa, my camera's not even on me. My camera's messing up over here, guys. I don't know the single shot one. It's doing its own thing. That's why we need robots. No,
wow,
totally joking.
Bother the production.
No, not at all. I'm saying if robot just would have fixed it on its own. But anyways, what I'm getting at here is it's only roughly about 2.5%. So it's nothing to cry home about. It's doing it again, so we're not gonna worry about that. I'll look at this one. So essentially, if you want to do business here, it's going to cost you 2.5%, and I think that's roughly a fair deal considering the scale of revenue that America's tech giants bring. So I think that's fair enough, especially if you want to continuously expand. It's nothing compared to what Europe has, or Germany, I should say. Germany's is like 10%. I believe ours is a roughly 2.5%. So I think that's sustainable.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm just trading here SVRE. I'm trying to work into this position. While we're above the volume weighted average price, I'm long at 59, so I got stopped out for the remaining amount. Initially, we're still positive. I'm looking at dollar cost averaging at the third of a dollar because that's where the volume weighted average price is. This current candle has a low of around that $0.25, give or take. So there is a seller of note here, a really big seller at 60 pennies. It looks like they may have moved down to about 50 now. So there is that kind of drop down as to where they're selling a big portion of shares. We got to 60 several times, only not to be able to shake that level. The prior candle high also 68, because I was waiting at 69 and I didn't get filled. So let's see how this cookie crumbles here on SVRE. Feels like it may want to start heading to the backside or to the upside over here, but kind of hard to tell because we've just got so many different levels where people are posting sell orders. Now there's seller at 58. 59, here we go with 60 again. This is where we held up last time. We couldn't break 60 pennies last time, and here we are again at 60 pennies, taking it out, but refreshing the sell order there at 64. So every time we come up into the 60 penny area, we're being met with aggressive selling. We can't really clear that 60 penny area, nor are we able to make a new candle to make a new high. So the previous air candle I mentioned, 68 pennies. This current candle has 64 pennies as the high. So certainly some selling there. Let's see if we're able to work above. I've layered my orders in the way that I feel like we could get some good prints on this one, but it's really going to be a matter of whether or not we can continue to put in higher lows, because generally, with the exception of 1 or 2 candles, we are putting in higher lows. So packing my patience on this one, looking for that break of 69. Adara, go ahead.
I just want to provide a little bit more context on that post from Donald Trump. So in case you missed it, President Donald Trump on Truth Social said that because Canada is going to be putting forward their digital service tax, Canada and the U.S. will not be in trade talks, and the U.S. is going to tell Canada the tariff rate it has to pay within 7 days. So I looked into this. This digital service tax, as far as like over a week ago, the Canada Foreign Minister said it was still going to happen. It was kind of phrased in the post like this is a new thing. It was not a new thing, but there were some hopes that Canada was going to, I guess, rescind it after G7. So that's kind of the context here. This tax was already in talks. There were, I guess, some hopes that this was going to be rescinded due to the G7 negotiations. Either way, that didn't happen. The tax is going through. So it's not new, but the way it's being applied here, and I guess the context of it is upsetting apparently for the U.S. Drop here for the market. Just to provide a little bit more context on the story as we send you back to the Bash Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I told you guys I was talking about it last week. I think he's acting a little bit irrational over this digital sales tax. I mean, it is what it is. We can't get too worried about it. If he wants to just eliminate and throw everything off the table just because of this 2.5%, then sure enough, you can do whatever you want. And there you go. You send the market in turmoil. So if you think that Canada are your closest trading partners, you're gonna throw all of that over 2.5%, then what do you think is gonna happen? I know you said there's a bunch of deals across the board. So many deals. Or there you go. You just threw one out the window. So yeah, it is what it is. You can charge us tariffs whatever you want, but then 2.5%, bang, we'll take it from Meta. So yeah, there it is. I'm not going to get too into that anyways, right? But yeah, Sharif definitely knows a little bit more than I do on this one. But here we go. We're piecing some out here on the TQs, and that's what we were looking to do. I accidentally took some out here. I put the wrong order in, and then it just took a little bit more off for me. But yeah, there we go. A nice add. And with those momentum plays, you want to look to add into that position as well, too, as it continues to move lower. So let's see how aggressive this bounce is going to be, or it's going to be sustained to the lower end. No, why would I be mad? It doesn't bother me. I'm short the
I think
market.
he's just negotiating. This is what he does.
Yeah,
he lashes out, sort of.
Right? Yeah.
He gets like the sort of the momentum back on his side, right? So if you've come out with a new restriction on him, he likes to respond to kind of regain the negotiating power.
Absolutely.
And I don't have a problem with that. It's going to be a zig and zag, back and forth kind of situation.
And he's dramatic too. He's like, all right, yeah, okay, well, everything's back on the table now. I don't think that's going to. I don't think that's going to be the case.
So let's give them some context. Yeah. So right now, what the Canadian government has been doing is they've been according to them, they've been negotiating behind the scenes with Donald Trump, right? They don't want to negotiate in public. That's kind of been made. They've made that clear, through multiple press conferences. And I don't think that's such a bad idea, right, for the Canadian government to not want to be engaging, with Donald Trump openly, because obviously it can get contentious. And I think the relationship should be really good between the two countries. So I don't mind behind the scenes negotiation. What is the issue is that the prime minister of this country, the new prime minister, Mark Carney, basically came out a few weeks ago and said that, we should be expecting a trade deal to be announced with the United States within 30 days. I don't know how long ago that was. It feels like a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little bit less. So when you kind of put the deadline on something like that, the market sets in expectations, and now we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds between the two countries. But I think this is just Donald Trump doing negotiating as he typically does, and I wouldn't take anything really to heart at them. I personally,
not going to take anything face value, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, he's
exactly.
negotiating.
So.
This is what he does. He's fantastic at it. Everybody knows what the art of the deal is. He's doing it all over the world, so it shouldn't be a shock to anybody that this is how he operates, right? So that's a look.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're short the market. That's it. We'll keep it simple here, and we get that tank. That's the thing. It only needed that little spark in order for us to break through some key support levels. So yeah, a good look here on the Qs short. If you're long, not so much. But who knows how deep this rebound can be. And I bet you by next week, something positive will come out and the market will be able to rally. But again, guys, we talk about this quite often here, is that look at the run that the likes of NVDA, Microsoft, and the overall market has been on since those Liberation Day lows. It just needs that little spark to light the flame, and then you'll get that sell-off and that pullback that everybody was waiting for. And then maybe that's going to be the case. You say you're striking deals, maybe the street doesn't like some of the deals that have been made, and then sure enough, you sell off, and then you get a catalyst like this coming out that him and Canada we're no longer friends, apparently. No, I'm just joking, but here it is. Just a little spark, and then it sets the fire, and you continuously sell here on the day. So I think the market did price in the best case scenario, and sure enough, this isn't the best case scenario. This isn't exactly how the market thought things was going to play out, and then sure enough, we are selling. So that's what I got going on. IBIT did bounce. I'm glad that we hopped out of this trade, and that's where you just get out when you're supposed to, crack the neckline, engulfing candle, and then now you can see we're heading into this support level. So yeah, 108 giving IBIT a world of trouble. I guess Bitcoin, I should say, a world of trouble. So just be patient on that one to see what's going on. Let's see what everybody else in the chat is going on, or is up to, I should say. Make stocks cheap again. There you go. Rivian Millionaire. I like that one. Yeah, let's buy again. Let's see if we can get another dip to just buy it, and then hopefully we can continue to grow. And I mean, earnings seasons, what was it? I think JPM reports about a month from now, the 25th or something along those lines. So there you go, 4 weeks until we start rolling back into the earnings, which is always good for the market. I'm curious to what's going on with that. 51st State is playing hard to get. Thank you for that. I mean, you guys can be the province here, or matter of fact, the territory at that point. Ask Iran how the taco trade worked out for them. Yeah, that's a completely different scenario there, my friend. So do you think bull has bottomed at current prices? Thank you. User, let's take a look at bull. Webull was a pretty hot IPO. Let's see what's going. Has it bottomed from here? With the way it's looking, not necessarily, right? So you got to keep that in mind. You get that curl over, and now you're holding the low of the day. Boom, and just as we're talking about it, you get that punch through. So keep that in mind. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. And ooh, oh yeah, this is not good. This is not good whatsoever. So what did we go from? The low here all the way up to here is approximately 600, and that's a bad number, 666%. And then sure enough, we take a massive nosedive down from the 79 all to where we're currently trading at an 85% haircut on that one. Has it bottomed? Maybe. Let's kind of expand this price action here to see if this is a potential bottom. But what you want to do is, if you are looking for a bounce, just have your stop right around the $9 mark. That's not too much, about $1.70 or whatever it may be. And then if it cracks through that and then you come back towards that stop, then just hop out and see what's going on from that point straight.
All right, guys. I'm still involved in this SVRE, excuse me. We're long at 37s. We're having money right now as it's zigging and zagging at the 4 1/5, 4 1/4, a little there, a little here. Now it is below the volume weighted average price, so it's going to have to hold 4 here. Otherwise, we're going to get stopped out. So what I'm looking for is for that higher low situation to continue and possibly move up and take out that 490 seller, that, or initially I should say 468 seller, because we got to get above that level before we get into that 490 where we kind of topping tail there. I want to say around 120, showing 420 right now. It feels like the seller is incrementally moving down, so we'll keep tabs on that one. I don't know how I feel about this one at this level. It's not really, yeah, we're not really getting that move to the high side here. It feels like the seller is stepping down, so I may be in some trouble with this one, but we're gonna stop the bleeding if it does lose 4. So we will lose about 37 pennies per share if it does stop me out. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. A couple of minutes left on the show here. I hope you guys had a fantastic week with us. Fantastic Friday. I know it's been a great week over here. The weather has been fantastic. It's a long weekend, not for you guys, for us. We will be here on Monday, but it is Canada Day on Monday, so the celebrations will start this weekend for sure. We got a lot going on in the city. I'm pumped up. What do you guys? Yeah, no, don't say anything. What are you up to on the weekend?
Yeah, I was gonna go to the beach actually, but a lot of my boys, because we usually have an annual beach party at Wasaga Beach. We've been doing it for about probably.
You guys go to Wasaga, eh?
Yeah, we've been doing it for about 15, 16
but you know what,
years now.
It's done there now.
Yeah, they demolished it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Our guy Dougie,
Big Dougie.
Yeah, he's going to start to build some condos and kind of just reestablish. Because I think it was a hot spot when I was in my. I still am. I think I am. But prime time, like early 20s, Joe. The parties that we used to have there. Yeah.
Everybody.
It was just absolutely insane. So hopefully they kind of refurbish everything there and hopefully rebuild that strip, because Wasaga Beach was most definitely a time at Bananas we would go to.
So where are you going to hit? What beach are you hitting?
I'm not going to be going to the beach. I think I'm going to go rooftop, maybe Laval or Cost, I think, or the Grand Bazaar.
Laval should be nice.
So I'll be posted up by a pool and trying to catch the maximum amount of races.
Your boy Joey Options is going to Laval over here. Yeah.
You want to come?
Maybe.
Right, call me.
You might see Obi and Joey Options, Laval. You guys want that
Tarps
Obi
up.
love? You want that Joey love? Well, Joey is.
What time am I going to be there? Don't tell him what time. Why? I'll tell him. Show up and come say hi. Come say hi to your boy.
All no fear. Joey Hands.
Yeah.
That's why.
The tarps off, everything.
Tarps off at the club?
At Laval, absolutely, on the rooftop.
That's interesting. Oh, because it is a pool.
Yeah,
there's a pool. Yeah, what am I saying? There's a pool there, yeah.
No shirt.
Fair.
Even though obviously everybody's done.
Okay, guys. We're having a great time. Shout out to Sig Sire. Wasaga apparently is a douche town. Well, my sister used to live in Wasaga Beach. I'm sure she thinks the same as you, idiot. Anyway, so we're done here, and we're sending you to the big boys that way. Obi and Neil, I'll see everybody at the green screen in a minute.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Don't talk bad about Wasaga.
What's going on?
All right? We've just learned a few things. One,